And I know we have wasted a lot of time. I wish you good luck as we go around to see what our doctors have done about. And I'm sure we also have an opportunity of getting this feedback from you people. So now my humble request, if we can clap for our government, we come to give us the team of the head.
Deputy County Secretary, Mr. Frank representatives of USAID in the board, who are on the platform, national government officials present, the representative of SDC present, the county, the representative of implementing partners present, representatives of various non-state actors present, community representatives from various places present in the house. This then Mama Stoker in Congo, Yako, Saku, ambao wako hapa. I will try my level best to make sure that at least all of us here and understand what is happening around because you know our community representatives in the house, we do not all of them understand the language that they use this morning. But I was trying to make the market run. Yes. Good morning. Good morning once again. I think we are not going to pass the coronavirus, we just about to. So when I say good morning, don't forget to respond. It gives me pleasure to join you this morning for the learning event organized by Marsabit County Project. May I also take this opportunity to welcome you all to Marsabit County, a progressive and prosperous county of choice. We also say Marsabit is the heart of mankind. So for our visitors, welcome home. American people are friends of Marsabit, and through their development arm, USAID, we have partnered through different projects. Let us be a winning project, a 5-year project attempting to address malnutrition through action research. The research primarily involves types of intervention at the household and community levels. We are also cognizant of USAID support to local NGOs around who are doing good work in the county. And as a county government, we continue to partner, work together with all the non-state actors, the NGOs that are present in the county. Through our county steering meetings, we always share the areas, issues that affect Marsabit County directly. And we want to acknowledge their continuous support always whenever we have issues in the county. Asanteni sana. Today's event reminds me of an accomplished author and a neurosurgeon, Ben Carson, a great American writer in his book, Think Big. He said, "Mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be ignited." This statement underscores and captures scope of learning, which never ends. I know you are here to learn from smart practices undertaken by county government of Marsabit through the support of Kenya Rapid Program. Thank you for choosing Marsabit as right destination. Indeed, you are right to choose us. Marsabit is among the ASAL counties which experiences frequent drought. It's rare to get good, short, and low rain in a year. There are instances where all seasons fail, or one season fails. Currently, it is raining in Marsabit, but this rain is poorly distributed in time and space within and across the county. This makes Marsabit a water-scarce county. Water is life and potential sources of pastoral conflict in Marsabit. Our main sources of water are boreholes and water plants, which are very vulnerable to drought. In this respect, the county government of Marsabit, for the past 7 years of devolution, has invested heavily in the department in the development of water infrastructure and systems to address water availability and access to both people and their livestock. Some major milestones have been achieved that include distribution of plastic tanks, training and equipping of strategic boreholes, development of water plants, construction of underground water tanks, desilting of existing plants, installation of solar water pumps and sensors for the purpose of remote monitoring and timely responses, expansion and rehabilitation of pipeline infrastructure and the connectivity, expansion of Bakuli 4 Dam, and hydrological survey, and etc. The list is endless. I would like to acknowledge the support of Kenya Rapid project. The project substantially supplemented Kenya government efforts through development of Marsabit, water policy, and bill. Marsabit County is among the first few counties that enacted the bill. We now have Marsabit Water and Sanitation Act 2018. The project also supported operationalization of water sector fund, solarization and equipping of boreholes with sensors, capacity building, rapid borehole responses support, and importantly, automation of major water points. Most of our boreholes are poorly governed and has been milk cows for some cartels managing the boreholes. I'm sure such experiences is common in most ASAL areas where unscrupulous water user committee mismanage water resource. To overcome such mismanagement, I wish to acknowledge in particular automation of major water points with prepaid water meters for household, livestock and water trucks through the support of Kenya Rapid. This is transformative, revolutionary and innovative approach to water governance. Where the boreholes have been automated, we've seen increased revenue collection at major community water points, improved equity in sharing of water resources, reduced wastage because of technology. Every drop of water counts. This has also opened up opportunities for further collaboration and engagement with various private sector players in the market, including Maji Milele, IBM, SweetSense, amongst others. So far, I confidently tell you that 12 community water points have been installed with prepaid water meters, and pilots for bulk prepaid water meters for water trucks has been installed and working well at Kubikalo and Logloko, while bulk prepaid water meters for livestock is being piloted at Kambinyoka. This innovation has been darling to many people, and we proudly showcase through such learning events or publication. Recently, we had opportunity to feature it in IGAD magazine. Thank you again, Kenya Rapid, for making us visible. With the additional funding we have already received through the direct county transfer funds, Marsabit County will continue to build on the success it had with innovation and technology for service delivery, improvements at major strategic boreholes within the county. While major strides have been made in water sector services delivery over the past few years of devolution, we still have huge gaps in this sector, for which further support and collaboration is required through continuous engagement with our partners and the stakeholders as we also explore another round of Kenya Rapid 2. On behalf of His Excellency Governor Mohamed Ali, once again I wish to thank USAID and SDC for the support extended to us through the Kenya Rapid project. As we interact and engage each other in this learning event, in terms of what worked well for us during the first phase of Kenya Rapid project, it is my sincere hope that the lessons learned will enable us to improve our programming in our future endeavors. Watu wetu wale ambao wako hapa ambao wasikii lugha, nasema tunashukuru Mungu kwa sababu ya nafasi hii ya kuja pamoja na kujifunza. Tunajua kwamba kuna changamoto hasa katika kaunti ya Marsabit kwa sababu ya hali yetu ya anga ambayo imekuwa ikiendelea kubadilika, na tumekuwa na changamoto kwa sababu mvua ambayo tunapata si ya kutosha, ama ni mvua ambayo inanyesha sehemu moja ikaacha sehemu nyingine. Nimesema saa hizi mvua inanyesha, lakini tayari kuna sehemu ambazo hazijapata hata tone moja la mvua. Na kwa hivyo changamoto ya ukosefu wa maji ambayo pia ni sababu ya ukosefu au changamoto ambayo inaleta chuki na uhasama kwa sababu ya kupigania hii rasilimali ambayo ni ngumu kupatikana. Ukijua kwamba sisi ni wafugaji, we are pastoralist. Kwa hivyo tunatembea kila mahali, na hasa kile kinatufanya tutembee na wanyama wetu kutoka sehemu moja hadi nyingine ni ukosefu wa maji na malisho kwa wanyama wetu. Nasema zaidi ya 80% ya wakazi wa Marsabit County ni wafugaji wa ng'ombe, ngamia, mbuzi, kondoo na kadhalika. Kwa hivyo rasilimali hii inapokosekana inakuwa sababu ya sisi jamii ambazo tunafuga wanyama hao kukosana kwa sababu rasilimali si ya kutosha. Itabidi tutembee, tuvuke ngambo hii tuende upande ule mwingine, hata mara nyingine kuvuka ngambo kwenda nchi nyingine ya jirani kama Ethiopia. Wakati mwingine unavuka kwenda Wajia, unavuka kwenda Isiolo, unavuka kwenda Samburu ili kuweza kutafuta malisho kwa wanyama wetu. Ni kwa sababu tu ya nyasi na maji kwa wanyama wetu. Kwa hivyo changamoto hii na vile hali ya anga inavyoendelea kubadilika, climatic change, inaendelea kuzidi na watu wanaendelea kuongezeka. Ijapokuwa idadi yetu si kubwa sana, lakini kaunti nayo ni pana. Kwa hivyo rasilimali hata ikiwa itapatikana upande huu, kusafiri na kwenda upande ule mwingine inaleta uhasama kati ya jamii hizi, na sote tunajua wakati kuna ukosefu wa maji, ukosefu wa mvua. Kwa hivyo hii changamoto ya maisha kila wakati katika mji wa Marsabit ama Marsabit County kwa jumla ni kitu ambacho sisi kama serikali na viongozi tumekuwa tuking'ang'ana nayo kila wakati. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru wafadhili wetu, wahisani wetu USAID, ambayo imekuwa rafiki wa karibu kila wakati kuweza kutusaidia kutukwamua mahali ambapo tunakwama. Nasema asante kwa USAID tena kwa sababu inawapa ufadhili kwa yale mashirika yasiyokuwa ya serikali katika kaunti yetu.
Na kupitia mashirika hayo pia, kwa sababu tuna uhusiano wetu kupitia County Steering Group, tumekuwa tukifanya kazi pamoja. Kwa hivyo hata kama ufadhili haukuji moja kwa moja kwetu, kupitia mashirika hayo yasiyokuwa serikali, bado watu wetu wa Marsabit County wanaendelea kufaidika. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru sana wafadhili, hasa siku ya leo, kutokana na hii technological innovation hii ya automation ya boreholes na mifereji ya hapa na pale katika county. Nimesema zaidi ya mifereji 12 tayari imefanywa automation, na hiyo ni maendeleo. Tumesema hii inaondoa changamoto kwa zile kamati za kuweza kushughulikia ama kumanage hizo kioski ya maji na boreholes, kwa sababu tumeunda wakati umefanya kuwe na cartels, na hizo cartels imefanya kama maji hiyo kama ni mali yao, na kufanya management ya resources ya maji kuwa ngumu sana. Kwa hivyo hii automation imerahisisha kazi. Maafisa wetu wakiwa kwa ofisi wanaweza kujua idadi ngapi ya senti imeingia. Ni faida kwa wale ambao wanafanya kazi hiyo. Wale kamati ambao wamekuja kuwakilisha mifereji ama boreholes hapa leo, siku ya leo, kumbukeni kwamba rasilimali hizo si ya mtu binafsi, ni ya jamii. It's not personal money that you're collecting. It belongs to this community. So why, kwa hivyo watu wasijinufaishe wao wenyewe. Let people not enrich themselves individually. If it is a women group managing these resources, let these resources manage or, help in making sure that generators, pipes that are destroyed, you have to come up with a mechanism such that munaweza kujitengenezea pipe, munaweza kujinunulia generator, kama ni fuel inatajika. Hiyo rasilimali ni kusaidia hiyo mifereji ama boreholes kujikwamua kutokana na changamoto ambayo inaweza kutokezea iwapo kutakuwa na shida. Na kwa hivyo si ya kujinufaisha. Hii ni changamoto kwa wale ambao ni wanajamii. Isijulikane, isitokezee kama ni ya mtu binafsi. Idara pia iko, ni mali ya serikali. Mali ya serikali, wewe ndio serikali. Inafaa kukusaidia kama jamii. Lakini kama watu wawili watatu watakuwa kijinufaisha, itakuwa ni hasara hata kwa wale ambao ni wafadhili. Kwa hivyo hii ni changamoto kwa wale wazee ambao wanasimamia, wahakikishe kwamba mali ambao zinapata inasaidia kazi ya kushughulikia rasilimali hiyo ya maji. Kwa hivyo yangu itakuwa ni wachache hayo. Kwa hivyo naomba wale wanakamiti na tuwe tukibadilisha, Bwana Shake, tuwe tukibadilisha kila kukicha. Kama wara hii ni kikundi hiki cha wamama, mara pengine ni kikundi cha vijana, tuwe tunabadilisha ili kila mtu apate experiences ama uzoefu wa kusimamia mali ya jamii. Isiwe ni watu wachache tu ndio watakuwa kisimamia, na wakiondoka hakutakuwa na yule ambaye anaweza kureplace. Lakini kuna experiences mtu anapata kila kukicha. Kwa hivyo hii ndio kazi ambayo nitapenda kwa wanajamii wetu na hata wale ambao ni kazi katika idara wahakikishe hayo yanafanyika. Mwisho kabisa, najua kuna changamoto. There is this challenge of COVID-19. COVID-19 is here and it is also affecting our supporters, our partners, the USAID and many others. They are also undergoing the same challenge in their countries. Let us also know this. Let us not also learn tuwe tu tukipewa that we are also always given. We can also give. That is a challenge that maybe is in all of us, or in some of us. We tend to think that we are also always receiving, on the receiving end. Sisi ni watu kupokea tu, hatuna kupeana. I'm a Christian, and my Bible says the hand that gives us more blessings. Ndio? Nadhani ndio maana nchi zingine zinaendelea. Sisi tumekuwa tu kupokea. Other countries are moving forward because they are giving. Even in the middle of this challenge of COVID-19, When people have no funds in their countries, they're still coming in with their support. Sisi tuko tu, and it's dangerous. So let us also learn to give. Don't think that you don't have anything. You have. Don't think that the only thing you can give is money. You can give your time. You can give your knowledge. You can give your experiences. There are many things you can give. So usifikiri watu wetu tusiseme kila wakati serikali ama wafadhili tafadhali doni mtusaidie. Sisi pia tunaweza kujisaidia. Ama hatuwezi? Watu wa Marsabit hatuwezi? Si tuko na ngamia, tuko na mbuzi, ziko nyingi. Anza kusaidia na mbuzi moja mwenye anahitaji. Utaona kwamba inazaa inakuwa mingi. Lakini kama upeani, jilali inakuja na fagia wote unabaki na kiboko ile ya kuchunga. So let's learn to give. Sio lazima ati mtu akuja na pesa. We have a lot to give. So tunashukuru wale ambao wanatupatia, lakini sisi pia tujifunze kupeana. Mungu atuwezeshe, si ndio? Hiyo ni maombi yetu sisi pia. So that one time we shall help people in US. Si ndio? Hiyo serikali ya Amerika ambayo inasaidia sasa, wakati mmoja tuseme ni mara yetu sasa ya kuwasaidia. Tusikeme tu kwamba sisi ni wakupokea, tuwe tunapeana pia. Kwa hivyo hii ni changamoto na wapeana, lakini nasema COVID-19 iko. I'm saying this specifically for the people of Marsabit and the Kenya at large. Tumepuuza sana the protocols given by the Ministry of Health. You think that those protocols are to help the Ministry of Health? Those protocols are to help you. And I always say, let us learn to be selfish, at least this time. This disease is helping us to be selfish. Not in terms of giving, Not in terms of giving disease to the other. Tumia mask, use the mask, wash your hands, keep social distance, avoid overcrowded places. This is for your own self and for your loved ones. So if you look at your left now and your right, the person who seated there, wewe pia unaweza kumambukiza na COVID-19 kama uko nayo. Si ndio? So this is the loved one on your left, on your right. It's your friend. Ugonjwa unaua. COVID is killing. And you know, people Marsabit have been saying, kuna ile wazee wetu wanasema, wakiborana, wanini umbe hini. Ile kitu siya tujui, isi tujue, in direct translation. Okay? But what is there is, this disease is here with us, and it kills. I don't want to say the old, above 58, it kills even the babies. I don't want to say those people with underlying issues. No, it kills even the normal ones with no underlying issues. I'm just passing this message for all of us. Let us not despise these protocols given is for your own sake. Wazee wetu mmesikia? Watu wetu mmesikia? Ni kwa faida yako na kwa faida ambayo unampenda. In conclusion, I encourage you to interact and learn from each other. We will continue to give our support and provide enabling environment for our partners. And our partners feel welcome always. You are part and parcel of us. You are part and parcel of our lives. Karibuni sana, tunawapenda. Enjoy your stay. Walk around Marsabit. People say Marsabit, watu wa kutoka down. When you hear Marsabit, you fear the name. Marsabit is a very peaceful place. Except one instance ambayo it's made so big. Otherwise, one of the peace-loving people. We have almost a third of all Kenyan population, ile ethnic groups, ziko hapa Marsabit. Kuna mahali mengi ya kuangalia, tembea. Now it is cold here. Some 20 meters down here is through desert. 20 kilometers, ukiteremka hivi ni desert. Utaona forest hapa ndani, very beautiful. If you want to breathe in fresh air, go to Marsabit forest. Fresh air, haina chafu. So there are things that are so attractive here in Marsabit. And don't forget, we have the best road in Kenya at the moment. Ama kuna ngine? Thanks to Kibaki government. Otherwise, karibuni sana, enjoy your stay around. Be aware COVID is there. I now declare the learning event officially open. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. I now wish to welcome Madam Tia Galgalo. She is a facilitator and she will now take us through the remaining part of the program. Karibu sana, Madam Tia.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for insights on the project that is working in Marsabit. Thank you, the whole team from the county. Situmpigie Governor mkono. Tumshukuru. Thank you, Your Excellency. Now I'm just about to introduce to you Mr. Kennedy Awacha, the Deputy Chief of Parties for Kenya Rapid Program. He's been with us in Isiolo. He's now here. He's been very keen in ensuring that this program works. So, Mr. Ken, please welcome and talk to the participant. Karibu sana.
His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Marsabit County, Honorable Solomon Gubo, Deputy Country Secretary, Honorable Tari Doti, Stephen Catelo, the County Program Steering Committee Chair, representatives from Food for the Hungry, private sector partners present here, Sweet Sense and Davison Shortleaf, representatives of Marsabit communities, that is Dirib Gombo, Saku, Shauri Yako, representatives from Resilient Learning Activity, my colleagues from Millennium Water Alliance, all protocols observed. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Salam alaikum. I'm delighted to be with you this morning to participate in this important event. That is the Kenya Rapid Program Closeout Learning, whose theme is Connect, Commit, Act, and Building Resilience with Communities in ASALs. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are all aware, the Kenya Rapid Program brings together public and private sector institutions and communities to increase access to water and sanitation for people and water for livestock, and to rebuild a healthy rangeland management ecosystem. Allow me to borrow the words from this common African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. And to note that this program was deliberately designed as a partnership to bring in the resources, capacities, and experiences of public and private development actors to help build resilience among the vulnerable communities in the ASALs. This was informed by the fact that if you want to go wide, go with government. The government is present far and wide. And if you want to go deep, go with research institutions, academia, non-governmental organizations, because they do not hesitate to go deep as may be dictated by the cause that they believe in. And if you want to go fast, go with private sector partners, because they are fast and efficient, and they are guided by the bottom line. And if you want to go far, you go together. We are lucky to have all, and we have come this far because of the partnership that we have fostered. And we are confident that the great results that we have achieved, that has been articulated by His Excellency, the Deputy Governor, is as a result of this partnership. These efforts have put us on the right track towards achievement of the Sustainable Development Goal of universal access to water services across the underserved communities. Ladies and gentlemen, implementation of this program has been a journey, and as you all know, a journey without challenges has no meaning. We experienced quite a number of challenges, some of which we overcame, and others provided very valuable learning platforms and experiences that will come in handy in future programming in ASALs. Some of the challenges include desert locusts that eroded some of the rangeland activities, delayed disbursement of funds from the national government, and also flooding, and most recently, the COVID-19 pandemic that His Excellency has spoken about. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude my speech, allow me to appreciate our two great and valuable partners, the USAID and Swiss Development Corporation, for providing us with the financial support that enable us to achieve the aforementioned successes. Our members and implementing partners, Food for the Hungry, which is supporting our program here in Marsabit County, Care Kenya, Catholic Relief Services, and World Vision. Our private sector partners, namely Acacia Water, Coca-Cola Foundation, Vital Foundation, KCB Foundation, Sweet Sense, Davis and Shutcliffe, and our communities and the county government of Marsabit for allowing us to work together. May God bless you all. Ladies and gentlemen, I now welcome you to watch this short video that we put together that provides a summary of our work. Thank you.
Challenges that we face in the water sector in Kenya are not actually unique to only Kenya as a country, but if you look at the sub-Saharan Africa, Kenya has the third highest number of people that use contaminated water bodies. According to 2019 Water Sanitation and Hygiene Monitoring Report by World Health Organization and UNICEF, the number of people that had access to safe drinking water was only at 59%, while those that had access to safe and basic sanitation was only at 29%. We know that globally, the wash-related diseases are among the leading causes of death for children under 5. Through the leadership of Millennium Water Alliance in Kenya, USAID, the Swiss Development Corporation, private sector partners like Coca-Cola, Vital Foundation, Davis and Shutcliffe, IBM Research, Sweet Sense, and Acacia Water, we are working together with Millennium Water Alliance members like CARE, Food for the Hungry, Catholic Relief Services, and World Vision in the northern part of Kenya, addressing the most basic access to water. We are contributing to improvement of access to safe water in these 5 counties. The 5 counties are Garissa, Isiolo, Marsabit, Wajir, and Turkana, as well as working with private sector partners to develop scalable and replicable business models using the market-driven systems, and working with communities, especially the elders and the customary institutions. The Millennium Water Alliance is a permanent global alliance of leading humanitarian and private organizations that convenes opportunities and partnerships, accelerate learning and effective models, and influences the water sanitation and hygiene space by leveraging the expertise and reach of its members and partners to scale quality and sustained wash services. In Kenya, Millennium Water Alliance is leading a 5-year, $35.5 million program called Kenya Resilient Arid Lands Partnership for Integrated Development, coined Kenya Rapid, which is, according to USAID, a global development alliance, or in Kenya what we call public-private partnerships, that brings the USAID, the Swiss Development Corporation, private sector partners, MWA members like CARE, Catholic Relief Services, World Vision, and Food for the Hungry, convenes under the leadership of Millennium Water Alliance in the arid lands counties in northern Kenya. The program actually combines the assets and the experiences of development actors and private and public institutions at county and national level by leveraging their capital and investments, innovations, and access to market to address the complex problems in the water, sanitation, and hygiene sector that actually culminates in inadequate water access and poor governance of natural resources in the arid and semi-arid lands. Now, throughout these 5 years, we have worked with these communities to build their capacities towards journey to self-reliance, and so far, we have reached over 460,000 people actually having surpassed the target of 450,000 people. I want to take this opportunity actually to appreciate and thank the members of the US Congress for supporting us to accelerate this progress within Kenya Rapid and making a contribution in Kenya. We are very much aware that every year the members of Congress or the representative of the American people have steadfastly actually supported water and sanitation funding at the Congress level when it comes to congressional appropriations per year. And through this support, those of us actually that work in the field on daily basis, we can see the difference that this funding and contribution and the support from the American people is making in Kenya to address the challenges that we have in the water sector and to reduce the number of people that are defecating in the open. We will together, as we look towards the next steps for Kenya Rapid, we want to ensure that we scale up the private sector models that have worked. We use market systems and we build the capacity of the local governments at national level and the county level to be able to drive their own national agenda.
Okay, thank you. Your Excellency, we've been here discussing about issues that were successful in the county. For now, we are going to have a group discussion. We'll have community dialogue and debates around what worked well, what did not work well, and what we need to improve. So we already have the issues, and one of the issues about the meter, about adapting ICT and providing prepaid water meters and the tokens around rangeland management, around sanitation and hygiene. I hope you've all understood. Participants, one is angafachu fedu. Is a one demo jinakan ayu akdasa is an igalte. Kam isa somo jirtan kan karmat saniti mo jiran kana. Kaunich of tiwan is an karafto jatani, san group saditan mke jirani. Sadenu an tafauti ojatanini. Akasi ifu amatan community dialogue to chufena. Hasa isani rafen group beta misani group chufat isani gagaribamne. Akisa wan isani akidasaga baif akidasaga timbain nutimtan. Akasi ifu projects antochita suni mant akamale isangamba chiskesa. Manti peta tuseme kwamba akidasa isani ngamba chisini kapengine fa kara ibi isang aru malan. Akasifu grupa gagarisan kona, group sadi gagarisan kona. Your Excellency, we are going to have 3 groups. We already have numbers on the table. For purpose of saving time, we've divided them in 3 groups. We had 4, but now we are going to have 3 groups. So in that 3 group, we are going to give them 2 tasks. And one task is for them to identify the best projects that worked for them. And then the project that did not work for them. Task number 2 will be for them to tell us what worked for them, how that can now be shared, what was the important lesson learned for that. So they'll give us one most important lesson learned in that particular project. And then they'll give us, for the worst or the one that did not do very well, they need to give us what did not work for them and how that can be improved for future planning for upscaling and all that kind of stuff. So we are going to have 3 groups. We have project outcome on the boards. We have 3 boards out there. And for these 3 boards, they'll have to identify one person in the group to be helping them to identify, and then they'll be able to report back to us in maybe less than 30 minutes. So we want you to join any of the group of your choice. You can join group 1, group 3, or group 4. So we are all going to participate. We don't want any one of you to leave, so that you can now internalize and help for the community also to understand in the simplest way possible. So we'll divide you into groups. I think you already have tables. You don't have to move because of course, the issue of COVID. We don't want people to mix. So we want you to turn your chairs towards the board that is available on the corners. And then we can now start from now. So when I said in the group, is an kecheta na meser ta group number sadi full what they fatu maltani ak to say kwamba na mito kwale kiti furan in the mina full what they fada akasi fuyu na chairman chagwada dubas maswali sununu dubisani kenena akasi ni aye so dagia so domak amna na mito kwale alati mbaini na mi arm jirch ofti tasul walmanto china. So you're most welcome. So grupi tokana tokan akafisi maswali tesaran jirt.
In response to the capacity challenges facing devolution in Kenya, the Kenya Rapid Program set up the County Capacity Building Fund, CCBF, a 60 million Kenya shilling grant facility with support from USAID, Swiss Agency for Development Cooperation, SDC, and additional funding from Isiolo, Marsabit, Turkana, Wajir, and Garissa County governments. The fund was to improve the county's operational capacity by strengthening leadership, management structures, and systems, and building long-term solutions in water, livestock, and rangeland management. At least 412 people have benefited from the several trainings done by the UN, JQuat, Strathmore University, the Kenya School of Government, and the Kenya Water and Sanitization Organization.
This training experience challenged me and all my colleagues to find a level of communication that will bring the necessary change that we are looking for, the outcomes, trying to actually motivate these civil servants or county officers to take their responsibility seriously.
From that training, we also came to realize that, even the way we were doing our budgets, we did our budgets in a way that was a bit blind on the soft skills of the staff. We put all the money in projects, for example, and we even forgot to put money for some bit of training. We also have in the midst of our workforce actually other statutory obligations that our staff are supposed to meet.
After the training, we noted that it's important we capacity build our officers on leadership, on water governance in their respective duty stations.
Generally, we have been able to benefit through the training of several staff. Some staff have been taken for different trainings. Some have gone for senior management courses. Some have gone for managers, also leadership trainings. Some, like me, were also beneficiaries of governance training.
The training was very helpful to us as public health officers. It was an eye-opener when it comes to ODF verification and certification.
2009 tulikuwa na cholera. 2010 kulikuwa na tiriga hapa hivi. Choo zamani ilikuwa ya machifu peke yake, hiyo area na walimu. Watu wakapata mafunzo kwa sababu tumefanya triggering, maneno CLTS.
Na sisi tukakuja kufundisha watu. Mbeleni kulikuwa na choo 13, wakaongeza 5 na wakachimba 8.
Paka 2019 tukakuwa ODF. World Toilet Day ilisherekewa Kilimani. Maji ya kunywa tuna treat. Hatuwezi direct kutumia kwa tap na tunakunywa.
Tulikuwa tunaenda mzalani hapo kwa Laga. Miaka mingi basi ndio sisi tunakaa bila choo. na saa hii tuko na choo. Tangu nijenge choo sijawahi kupatana na kolera na homa na malaria ya watoto. Choo umekusaidia kwa hiyo hayo yote.
From this is where now I'm seeing that you do the training, you are followed, you are observed, and maybe if need arises, maybe for backstopping of the other training or looking at the gaps that now is existing, then you are capacity built again.
Alikuwa anatufunza sisi juu ya kupanda hizi nyazi, kufuna, na pia alitrain juu ya mifugo, akatufunza jinsi ya kulisha hizo mifugo.
As you listen to that course when it was being delivered, there was a lot of food safety issues, the quality. And it looked like the private sector out there don't have anybody to advise them. So they would really benefit from some of these short courses from the experts and opening their eyes to the opportunities around them.
So we were trained on value addition. One of the items or the product was meat, milk. The other one was I could call it pig products. I don't know, this is the mutton or what. The other one was on poultry products.
Okay, the one which I have used most and I use is about meat processing, because we deal with chicken, and then about food processing.
Yes, Kenya Rapid, I think I am glad that we've worked with Kenya Rapid, and I'm also glad that there's been an extension of the project that we run in Turkana for the next 6 months.
The challenges that we face in the water sector in Kenya are not actually unique to only Kenya as a country, but if you look at the sub-Saharan Africa, Kenya has the third highest number of people that use contaminated water bodies. According to 2019 Water Sanitation and Hygiene Monitoring Report by World Health Organization and UNICEF, the number of people that had access to safe drinking water was only at 59%, while those that had access to safe and basic sanitation was only at 29%. We know that globally, the wash-related diseases are among the leading causes of death for children under 5. Through the leadership of Millennium Water Alliance in Kenya, USAID, the Swiss Development Corporation, private sector partners like Coca-Cola, Vito Foundation, Davies and Chatleaf, IBM Research, Sweet Sense, and Acacia Water, we are working together with Millennium Water Alliance members like CARE, Food for the Hungry, Catholic Relief Services, and World Vision in the northern part of Kenya, addressing the most basic access to water. We are contributing to improvement of access to safe water in these 5 counties. The 5 counties are Garissa, Isiolo, Marsabit, Wajir, and Turkana, as well as working with private sector partners to develop scalable and replicable business models using the market-driven systems, and working with communities, especially the elders and the customary institutions. The Millennium Water Alliance is a permanent global alliance of leading humanitarian and private organizations that convenes opportunities and partnerships, accelerate learning and effective models, and influences the water sanitation and hygiene space by leveraging the expertise and reach of its members and partners to scale quality and sustained wash services. In Kenya, Millennium Water Alliance is leading a 5-year, $35.5 million program called Kenya Resilient Arid Lands Partnership for Integrated Development, coined Kenya Rapid, which is, according to USAID, a global development alliance, or in Kenya what we call public-private partnerships, that brings the USAID, the Swiss Development Corporation, private sector partners, MWA members like CARE, Catholic Relief Services, World Vision, and Food for the Hungry, convenes under the leadership of Millennium Water Alliance in the arid lands counties in northern Kenya. The program actually combines the assets and the experiences of development actors and private and public institutions at county and national level by leveraging their capital and investments, innovations, and access to market to address the complex problems in the water, sanitation, and hygiene sector that actually culminates in inadequate water access and poor governance of natural resources in the arid and semi-arid lands. Now, throughout these 5 years, we have worked with these communities to build their capacities towards journey to self-reliance, and so far, we have reached over 460,000 people, actually having surpassed the target of 450,000 people. I want to take this opportunity actually to appreciate and thank the members of the US Congress for supporting us to accelerate this progress within Kenya Rapid and making a contribution in Kenya. We are very much aware that every year the members of Congress or the representative of the American people have steadfastly actually supported water and sanitation funding at the Congress level when it comes to congressional appropriations per year. And through this support, those of us actually that work in the field on daily basis, we can see the difference that this funding and contribution and the support from the American people is making in Kenya to address the challenges that we have in the water sector and to reduce the number of people that are defecating in the open. We will together, as we look towards the next steps for Kenya Rapid, we want to ensure that we scale up the private sector models that have worked. We use market systems and we build the capacity of the local governments at national level and the county level to be able to drive their own national agenda. In Kenya, Millennium Water Alliance is leading a 5-year, $35.5 million program called Kenya Resilient Arid Lands Partnership for Integrated Development, coined Kenya Rapid, which is, according to USAID, a global development alliance, or in Kenya what we call public-private partnerships, that brings the USAID, the Swiss Development Corporation, private sector partners, MWA members like CARE, Catholic Relief Services, World Vision, and Food for the Hungry, convenes under the leadership of Millennium Water Alliance in the arid lands, counties in northern Kenya. The program actually combines the assets and the experiences of development actors and private and public institutions at county and national level by leveraging their capital and investments, innovations, and access to market to address the complex problems in the water, sanitation, and hygiene sector that actually culminates in inadequate water access and poor governance of natural resources in the arid and semi-arid lands. Now, throughout these 5 years, we have worked with these communities to build their capacities towards journey to self-reliance, and so far, we have reached over 460.
والبرين كيتين هيك ما كيت فيني كم بوكسي فلاتي ناخاني كاي فيني تم بوكفت بوكسي أرما كيت tunaanza tuna sasa ile kuna nguvu ndo sisi tunachagua ndo sasa tayari wanavoti
mtakavyofanya watu watakuwa wanaona kwa TV sawa
haina wasiwasi
so just the way I say kama mtu anaongea unampatia microphone
okay mbona mantra hiyo na mimi taneno abagodana ko da tille buki sai chidda rum da banya buki buki yo kalamu ni buki soni man udah kamu buki sai dim tu kamu buki armada aku ya tai armada abo tai kota po. Wani dim tu kambukis sa chedda. Wani dim tu kambukis. Gar tu achi waran. Oh, inar gu beta. Ini narku.
naweza kushare na watu wengine. Alafu ile imepata teams kidogo zaidi. Ni nini ingefanyika tofauti ndio hata sisi tu tunufaishe na hiyo? Tuko pamoja? Have I explained it properly? Sasa
tuanzishe sasa. Wankara no fulano faidi kine wan prepared meetatan. Prepared meetani duri no okay, niongee Kiswahili. Okay. Cha kwanza kitu ambayo tulifaidika ni prepared meter. Zamani sisi tulikuwa tunatumia ile kioski ya analog ambaye wanafanya manyo, wanafungulia watu maji. Mtu anaanzisha kazi saa 12 asubuhi na anakaa mpaka saa 12 huko jioni. Hiyo ndio kwanza. Na wanafanya watu watatu kwa sehemu moja, wanafanya watu watatu. Lakini vile prepared meter ilikuja, tuliweza kuanzisha na ni watu wawili tu ndio wanafanya na watu wanabadilishana. Kitu cha kwanza wakati ile wa zamani ambaye tulikuwa na kioski ya analog, tulikuwa tunapata pesa kidogo sana. Alafu matumizi ya maji ni mingi zaidi. Na pesa ni mchache. Ya kwanza katika maji wakati watu tunaweza tumia kwa siku lita 20,000 na zaidi, na pesa ambao unapata ni kidogo sana. Cha pili, wale ambao wanafanya kazi huko pesa wanapata ni kidogo na ile maji wanapoteza ni mingi sana. Na watu wakikuja wanaweza tumia ile kiwango mingi sana ya maji, zile ambao maji wanamwaga ni mingi. Wengine wanalipa pesa na wengine hawalipi pesa na wanaondoka. Na ile pesa ambao wanapata kwa mchana hakuna rekodi yote inafanyika. Lakini kwa sasa vile prepared imekuja, kuna record ambayo inaonekana na kiwango gani ya maji ambayo watu wanachota. Members ama committee wanajua ni kiasi gani ya maji walichota na kiasi gani ya pesa ambayo walipata kwa mchana, wanaweza wakajua. Na ya pili, ni rahisi sana kwa wale ambao wanafanya kazi huko, na ni rahisi sana kwa wale ambao wanachota maji waweza kupata maji yao kwa urahisi kabisa. Kwa sababu ni service ya 24 hours. Bora maji liwe kwa tank, mtu anaweza kuchota wakati wote ambaye anataka. Bora yeye awe na charges ama pesa katika token yake, katika chip card, aweze kuwa na pesa, anaweza chota wakati wote ambaye anataka. Na ni rahisi kwa raia pia. Na pia watu wameweza kujiendeleza wenyewe na wanajua matumizi yao ya maji, ni kiasi gani ya maji wanaweza tumia. Zamani mtu mmoja anaweza kuja na lita jerikani mingi, kama jerikani 20 ama jerikani 8 ama 10, anaweza chota zote aende nayo, ajipangi. Lakini kwa sasa vile ni matumizi yake ya maji, anaweza kujipanga kiasi ya maji. Mtu anaweza tumia kiasi kidogo cha maji. Okay. Achina Raji, manjet. Makaila kami. Drip Gombo Progressive.
Sasa maybe tutaanza na umuhimu wa prepaid meter. Na prepaid meter, before hatukuwa na prepaid meter, tulikuwa na shida sana. Piping ya maji ilikuwa kidogo sana, the pipes ilikuwa kidogo, haikuwa inaleta maji kutoka water supplies. na maji yetu inatoka kwa Ministry of Water huko juu kwa supplies. Na hiyo kioski yetu ilikuwa tu ni kioski ya mabati. Structure yenyewe haikuwa mzuri. Piping naye pipes ilikuwa kidogo. Hatukuwa tunapata maji vizuri. And then wakati wa kutengeneza barabara pipes inavunjika. So watu wa maji milele na water na FH walikuja wakatufunza kuhusu prepaid, vile inafanya kazi na vile itakuwa installed, na tulijaribu kuongea na hawa kwanza sisi members, baadaye tukaongea na tukafanya mkutano na wazee wa Manyata, baadaye tukafanya mkutano na komiti ya Manyata. Sisi wenyewe tukawafunza umuhimu wa kukuwa na prepaid na maji vile itaweza kututosheleza. Baadaye tukajengewa kioski yenyewe. Kioski yenyewe ikawa sasa ni kioski ya permanent building. Baadaye tukafanywa piping. Piping naye pipes ikawa ni pipe kubwa ambaye inaleta maji mingi. Mfereji naye ilikuwa ni mfereji 2, tukaongezewa tap nyingine ya 3, ikawa ni permanent structure ikiwa na pipe mzuri na maji tulikuwa tunapata vizuri. Baada ya hapo tukafanya mkutano na community beneficiaries ya Manyata 16. Hapo sasa tukawafunza vile ya kutumia prepaid na tuliwaambia wanunue hiyo prepaid na shilingi 200. So ikawa ni shida kidogo, kulikuwa na challenges. Walikuwa wanasema maji itachukuliwa na serikali, sisi hatutaweza, wale hawajiwezi hawatapata maji. Kulikuwa na shida hapa na pale, lakini tulijaribu kuongea na wao, tukawaambia tunaanza wote pamoja, na kama tutaona haitatusaidia we can withdraw, tutaweza kuachana na hiyo mambo ya prepaid, na tukiona inatusaidia tutaendelea. So tukasema wacha tuchukue only 3 months tuone kama itatusaidia ama haitusaidii. So after 1 month wote walifurahia kwa sababu tulikuwa tunapata maji kwa wingi. Hakuna shida ya pesa kupotea, na wale hawajiwezi pia sisi tulijaribu kuwanunulia token kama group. So ikawa ni faida sana, wali appreciate, na saizi maji wanapata vizuri na wanapata maji kwa wingi. Kiu ile line mrefu ilikuanga hapo mbeleni iliisha. So hata ikawa ni asubuhi mtu akitaka kwenda kazi anapeana mitungi yake kwa kijana ya tuktuk, anaenda anakuletea maji, ukirudi kutoka kazi unapata maji yako imechota, mitungi iko nyumbani. So prepaid imesaidia sana community na groups. Dani ataongezea. Ende teta.
Wakati wa before the prepaid meter, the 20 liter jerrycan tulikuwa tunalipisha 2 shillings. But now wakati wa prepaid tunalipisha 5 shillings. So mapato naye sasa ni kama imepanda, na huwa tunapata mapato mzuri. Ile inasaidia community na ile inatusaidia pia. Then the advantage of prepaid, hakuna mavurugano, yani hakuna congestion. Mtu anakuja pengine wakati wa hiyo prepaid, mtu akiwa anakuja anapanga tu laini yake, anajichotea maji yake akiwa kwa kiu yake na anaondoka, hakuna kuvurugana, yani watu wanachota na utaratibu. So that is one advantage ile sitipata. Kwa wale sisi sasa wenye wana manage hiyo maji wa kiosk, wakati wa kwanza huwa wakati tulikuwa tumepata hiyo prepaid tulikuwa na challenges mingi sana. Tulikuwa tunasimama hapo karibu na tap tukipima maji simwagike, watu wasipigane nini kitu kama hiyo. But this time what prepaid make it easy. Yeah, what you are sure of, Mtu akikuja anakupatia kwanza pesa, unamwekea kwa token, that is ni surety ile unajua ya kwamba umelipwa. Na mwenye anaenda sasa kuchota naye ataenda kuchota na akimwaga maji yake. Sasa hiyo it depends with the person mwenye anaenda kuchota, kwa sababu you should be very, very careful of it. Maji kimwagika maybe hiyo sasa ni hasara kwa yule mwenye anachota, because utaenda na jerrycan ikiwa nusu. So that is the advantage of prepaid, and it is imetusaidia sana, in short imerahisisha kazi vizuri sana.
Because we are running out of time. Maybe somebody anaweza kumpatia ongee.
Umuhimu token
Prepaid ni muhimu sana. Tangu tulitumia tumefaidika.
Thank you. Sorry.
Tunatumia token. Tangu tulianza kutumia token tumefaidika sana.
Oh. Yeah. Let's go to the Taya Neom Talafina. List impact. List impact. Tamikan am sunkesa. Susadien kesa tamikan. Tamikan. Iyo jaben khena agarreni ta mitaya agarreni suni jaben ne yo tasadien kesa tamil lafin qabnakan ta bori qarqar sitifenu tanu lafin kesa qabnatam tamata de
wanni mata deeda dhibisiin qabdu durii lafti nami firii akkuma fedhe godaan amma immoo godaanti sun hin jirtu lafti waraana fulaan tiffatan hin jirtu yoo achi deemtu horii fudhatanii yoo achi deemtu nami jeesanii durii akkasii hin jiru laafi wanni tiksaa laafis ammeenni nami wal tammaate waraan laafin natta achi kee jira hin godhataani
huyu tu ndo anaweza elewa hiyo. Itishe huyo Western. No.
wani matari da
Beefed up. Organize joint activities such as cultural festivals to increase coexistence. Tandi bi wana njede gumita nalle agarte wana ka agarte show yi walti tochani akori tuftinu nami gam adufani wan ado fi wala garsisani kharana gati walinta tanje sulenda sani kadibin kamikan dara changilieni
akum gumita waltiin dhufanii karasii wal dhageette karasii wal dhageettun wal dhageetti sun wal dhageetti malee hin jirtu dubbiin sunu
isani kenninayya pot chairman tagar rangeland kana asi jede awata greatest lesson learned was that greatest impact was installation of paid water meters in the community water points. The main lesson learned is paid water meter generates higher income compared to the ordinary water at kiosk, and then there's also less wastage of water, and then thirdly, there's reduction of workload for the people taxed with manning. So those are the main lessons that we have learned. And concerning the least impact is the capacity building for rangeland management committees. And what can be done differently, therefore, is one, peaceful coexistence between the different communities to be spearheaded by their opinion leaders. And then security also to be beefed up. And then last, also, most importantly, organize joint activities such as cultural festivals to bring these particular communities together. Thank you.
Sorry. Project with the highest impact is installation of paid meters for our Shauri Yako group. Before we have been using the normal kiosk, hatukuwa na pesa kiasi ile inatakikana, lakini tulikuwa tuna struggle tufikie ile tunapata, tulikuwa tunashukuru, lakini tulipowekewa prepaid meter, pesa yetu ilikuwa increase revenue yetu. Pesa yetu ilikuwa increase revenue kwa sababu tulikuwa tunapata pesa kidogo sana. Hata mitungi moja ya maji ya 20 liters ilikuwa shilingi 2. So tulipowekewa prepaid meter, hata pesa iliongezeka. 20 liter jerrycan ikawa ni 5 shillings. Alafu kitu ingine ni maji ukishanunua token and then uwekewe shilingi 100, utapata jerrycan 20, mitungi ya lita 20. Then sasa maji ile ilikuwa inamwagika, ilikuwa inakuanga hasara kwetu, lakini kwa sasa maji hiyo ni kama huyo mtu akimwaga ni pesa yake, asipomwaga weka kwa mitungi ni yake. So pesa imeongezeka, ni kama imeongezeka 100%. So tunashukuru sana na tuko sawa mahali tuko. Na tangu tupate prepaid tumeweza kulipia watoto wale hawajiwezi within our community, watoto students 10 kwa shilingi 10,000 tukawalipia 100,000. Na tunalipianga hata Harambee community wakiwa na shida ya school fees, ugonjwa, sisi tunawasaidia kucontribute. and then tumenunua hata ploti hapa town. Saizi tuko na ardhi yetu na tunapanda hata mboga na sukuma. So sisi wenyewe hatuendi kutafuta mkopo kwa banks na kwingine. Sisi wenyewe tunapeana loans within, na imetusaidia sana kwa sababu hata nutritionally tumesaidika kwa sababu pesa tuko naye, na ukiwa na pesa unajua unakula vizuri, na kukula vizuri ndio sasa kukua na afya mzuri. So tunashukuru sana, maji tunapata household level vizuri, kukua na usafi nyumbani. So tunashukuru sana. Na nikimalizana na prepaid, tunakuja kwa project with the lowest impact, ni capacity building for rangeland community. Tumesema ni vizuri wa increase focus on community, rangeland community, wafunzwe vizuri na tupate hiyo mafunzo vile inatakikana tuweze kupata rangeland yetu vizuri.
Okay, I hope the group work is now over and that all the groups are ready. Natarajia kila mtu wako kwa group yake na tunataka mketi penye muko. Hatutaki mtembee tena ndio turipoti kutoka site penye muko. Kwa hivyo naomba chairs ya groups. Tunaanza na group. Hiyo ni group yako ni group 2 ama 1? Okay, we are starting with group 1. And I'm expecting the chair lady to start doing presentation. Are you ready? Yes. Asawa, asante.
Hello. Group 1, our project with the highest impact is installation of prepaid meter. And in the prepaid meter, the lesson we have learned and achieved was our revenue was increased. And then when our revenue increased, our health also improves, our nutrition status also improves. And then we are financially stable somehow. We don't go for sourcing finance and loans in banks and at Kenya, what do you call? Kenya Women. We usually go for loans at Kenya Women and banks. Nowadays, we do loan ourselves. We give loans to our members with no interest, because most of our members are Muslims. So we are very happy. We have managed even to buy a land of 50 by 100 meters in town. As at now we are speaking, we have our vegetables in our own plots. So we are very happy. We have achieved so much. We have even supported our vulnerable students in our community. We have managed to pay for them school fees for 10 students at the rate of 10,000 per student. So we have been even supporting within our members who are sick. We used to support them and assist them in medical bills. And in community, we have Harambes for supporting medical bills and school fees. We always help them. We used to give them support and at least assist them with some amount. So we are very happy. And our status is improved. As you can see, some of our members, all our members are very happy, very shiny, very healthy, up to our children at home. So we are very happy. That is all we have for prepaid. And then project with the lowest impact is capacity building for rangeland committee. We ranked this one the lowest because we need to be capacity built. We have to be trained on this rangeland management, and we have to be trained at least so that we can get enough pasture for our livestock. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your input. We'll have now group 2. Group 2 is at the corner there. So the chair of the group.
Group yetu ni Drip Gombo Progressive Association. Cha kwanza ambaye mimi nazungumzia kuhusiana na kioski ya maji ya prepared meter. Cha kwanza ile mabadiliko ambayo tumeipata ni kuhusiana na kioski ya zamani na ya kisasa ya teknolojia ya kisasa. Cha kwanza ile faida ambayo tumeipata kwa ukubwa zaidi ni kuhusiana na pesa. Kulinganisha na ile kioski ya zamani na ya saizi, ile pesa ambayo tunapata, ile mapato tunapata ni mapato makubwa zaidi, na kila mtu ama kila komiti wanaweza jua ni kiasi gani ya pesa ambayo wameweza kupata. Kwa hivyo tumefaidika sana na kila mtu ameweza kufaidika. Na ya pili, kitu ambayo tumeifaidika ni zamani, wakati wa kioski ya zamani tulikuwa tunapoteza maji mengi sana. Mtu anakuja anachukua majarikani mingi ya maji na pesa analipa ni kidogo, matumizi ya maji ni mingi sana. Kwa hivyo kwa sasa matumizi ya maji imeweza kuenda chini na mapato ya pesa imeweza kuwa juu. Kwa hivyo hakuna wastage yote ya maji, na mtu akimwaga maji ni pesa yake tu ndio itakuwa imemwagika. Kwa hivyo na pia raia ama community ambayo wamekuja kuchota hiyo maji wameweza kupata elimu, kwa sababu zamani wanakuja na jerikani mingi, wanachota maji kwa wingi, hawajui matumizi yake, lakini sasa wamejifunza na wanaweza kujipanga. Kama ni kwa siku wanatumia jerikani 8, ni hiyo 8 wanakuwa nayo kwa mchana. Kama ni 4 ni 4. Lakini kitambo walikuwa na waste maji, wanatumia vile wanataka, lakini sasa wameweza kujifunza, na pia hiyo ni community wameweza kujifunza kuhusiana na hiyo maji. Ya tatu ni kuhusiana na wafanyakazi ambao walikuwa wanafanya huko kazi, na pia imekuwa rahisi kwa wale ambao wanafanya kazi huko, na pia kwa community imekuwa rahisi kwao, kwa sababu zamani tulikuwa tuna wafanyakazi 3 ambao walikuwa wanafanya hiyo kioski, lakini sasa ni mtu mmoja tu ambaye anafanya katika hiyo kioski. Anawekea, wanarichargia pesa zao kwa token yao, kisha anaondoka, pia anaenda kufanya kazi nyingine. Raia pia wakiwa na pesa zao katika token yao wanaweza kuja kuchota wakati wote ambayo wanataka, bora wawe na maji, wawe na recharge ama pesa katika token yao. Kwa hivyo wanaweza kuja wakati wote ule ambao wanataka kuchota maji yao. Kwa hivyo imekuwa rahisi kwa wale ambao wanachota maji, na imekuwa rahisi kwa wale ambao wanasimamia ama wanaichotea watu maji. Kwa hivyo mapato ambayo tumepata ni mapato makubwa sana kuhusiana na hii mambo ya prepared meter. Asanteni sana.
So what the chairman is explaining here is, wacha ni translate tu kidogo. So the chairman is explaining the impact of the prepaid meter. He's talking about the higher income that the group has been able to get from the water kiosks. He's also talking about efficient use of water, because there's now less wastage and everyone pays for the water that comes from the kiosk. I think the most important point he has raised is that he has said there's a reduced workload for those who have been tasked with running and manning the kiosks in the local community. So this group had highlighted point number 1 as the highest impact outcome on the local community, and they have ranked the rangeland interventions as the lowest impact, with hand washing and hygiene coming number 2. So the main lesson that they have learned here is in terms of effect of the prepaid water meters on generating higher income for the kiosk, on reducing the wastage of water, and the reduction in workload for women who are tasked with fetching water and other uses. So thank you. He is going now to explain the lowest impact, which is on rangeland management and what could be done differently. Sindio?
Katika mambo ya rangeland, ya kwanza tumesema ile upungufu ambaye tumeweza kupata ni kuhusiana na amani. Katika jamii ama wale ambao wanaishi katika area ni kitu ambaye imeweza kuenda chini sana, ni amani. Kama hakuna amani pia hakuna mapato yote ama malisho yote watu wanaweza kupata. Na tumesema kwamba ile kitu ambaye inaweza kufanya hawa jamii wakuje pamoja, kwa ufupi tumesema watu waweze kuwa na cultural festivals. Jamii waweze kuchanganya, waingiane, interruption baina yao katika jamii, waweze kufanya festivals na kuja pamoja na kubadilishana mawazo. Tumesema ya tatu ni security. Katika serikali pia waweze kuwa na security ili waweze kubadilisha ama ile kasoro ambayo yenye iko waweze kutengenezewa. Kwa hivyo tulisema ni security ndio iweze kupatikana katika jamii. Na ile nyingine ni festival. Watu wa community wakuja pamoja, waweze kusherehekea mila yao pamoja na wabadilishane mawazo. Asanteni sana.
Tumpigie makofi. So what he's explaining that on the capacity building for rangeland management, which was scored the least, 3 things that they have suggested could be done differently. The first is to support the local communities on investing on peace, cohesion structures, which can then facilitate better dialogue around rangelands between the communities. They've also suggested that you need additional investments in things like security, which can provide the enabling environment for coexistence, and the use of local community events, cultural events to promote better rangeland management, either for communication or mobilization of local communities around rangeland management. So that is the outcome from this group. Asante Bwana Chair. Thank you. So we'll go to group 3.
For group 2, I think the issue of rangeland management, which is critical, you know, we are all pastoralists, and we need to ensure that the communities understand, have capacity building on rangeland management committee. The issue of insecurity is coming out very clearly. Let's have group 3.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa John Muro Galgalo. Mimi ni mojawapo wa SACU Welfare Group for People Living with Disability. Na I have my members here. We are 5 in number here. Na if I start, we start with the installation of prepaid water meters. This is what we have benefited most, and you can see how we ranked it. So as for this, I can explain it when I go through this. So the second one is about the capacity building for rangeland management and committees. Then the other one is improve underwashing and hygiene practice at household level. So project with the highest impact is installation of prepaid water meter. This lesson we learned is improvement of revenue collection. You know, before this prepaid meter, we were collecting money by hands, selling water in jerrycans without any accountability. Nobody knows the capacity of water which were being sold. And now with this prepaid meter, we know how much we sell and how much we use in a daily basis. Number 2, what we learned is supporting our member in health. You know, in this group, many of us are people who are under medical attention every time. There are people who have these spinal cord injuries. There are people who could not walk well. So they need very health care. We used to support every member of ours by paying their bills whenever they are needy or whenever they are sick at hospital. School bursaries. We used to support all our members, whoever who took his child to Form 1 up to Form 4. Then the other one, we set aside almost 1.2 million for loan, which revolve within the members. Whoever who wants to take a loan is free at his own time and is whenever he wants to implement any project at his own home. Then we have put aside 70,000 Kenyan shillings for NHIF for people living with disability for 4 sub-counties. Every sub-county with 3 members, which will benefit them. That is what we learned. And what we want to be improved is a revenue collection system, because up to this moment, we are taking money by hand. If need be, we need the system to be changed. No money comes to hand of a member or whoever who used to collect money from the sales of water. That's what we want it to be changed. And we want training of the management committees about bookkeeping, how to manage what comes in and what goes out, about expenditures, whatever they want to, whatever they used monthly, that they can give audit reports, annual audit reports, whenever they call their members at meetings. Then we need additional meter and storage tank, because the population of our community who use this water are, they need more water, because the capacity of the tank which we use there is not enough. And you see, a mother can stay up to that is almost saa tatu hivi, mama anakaa na mtoto huko and she's still waiting for the line to come to her. So if time could allow, we want additional tank that people could live, because of even their own security. We want them to leave earlier to their home before noon. So with these little remarks about what we learn and what to be improved, I want to go back to capacity building on rangeland. About rangeland, you know, to bring community together because of security is very important. And as you know, people living with disability need a lot of security care, because whenever people fought, they cannot protect themselves. I think it's not only people living with disability, but there are people even with age limit which we can count them as disabled, because an old man age over 80s and 70s is the same as a disabled. And a pregnant mother with a child, or a mom who gave birth with a little baby, same need care of security. That is why we want intervention of community to be brought together for peace and harmony to live together. That's all what I have.
I think we can now go back to our seats. And as you go back to your seat, it's important to note that from the 3 groups, the installation of prepaid meter is really working. I think the women group have already told us that they've used the money to buy a plot in town, a commercial plot. They're assisting the community by paying school fees for the vulnerable groups, or the vulnerable children who are in high school. We've also seen that the issue of improved sanitation and hygiene is number 2 And hygiene is very important now that there's COVID. There's plenty of water to wash hands, to ensure also that we don't have waterborne diseases. We also have plenty of water for domestic use and home use. We've also seen from the 3 groups that the issue of capacity building of rangeland management committee is critical, because I think we are all pastoralists. We have cows, camels, goats, and that the issue of insecurity is one important issue that you've all talked about that need to be addressed. So the management committee for rangeland management needs to really bring in the issue of peaceful coexistence. I think that the committee dialogue and debate has been very engaging. Nyinyi wote mmefurahi? Hebu tupige makofi basi tujishukuru. Asanteni sana kwa kupata nafasi kutuweza kutuelezea zaidi ile mambo imetendeka kutoka kwa community na mambo ile imefanya kazi, the project with the highest impact, with the lowest impact and the reasons. Tumeshukuru sana. Asanteni, na nita introduce the next session. Tuko na Mr. Jason here mwenye ataendelea na session ya pili. Tumkaribishe kwa makofi. Mr. Jason amekuwa mtu ya kazi, amekuwa hapa mara mingi, sio? So tumpige makofi ya kutosha basi hata ya furahi. Asante.
Okay, so thank you very much. I think that was a very good session. I wanted to ask some of our colleagues from, I think that we have participants from Garissa County who are virtual. I'm not sure who is on the call. I want to ask one of them to add either an experience of that they have or not. I'm just waiting to get the name so that I can cue one of them to speak. Because these are experiences that other counties have also had. I know our county colleagues from Wajir are on the call. I know that our colleagues from Garissa County are also on the call. I want to say they are most welcome, and we wanted to give one or two of them to also share the experience. Beatrice, did we get any? No? So yeah, we're just waiting to get, if we can get one of the participants from Garissa. Either on you can use the chat box, you can. Can anyone from Garissa drop their name on the chat box so that we can unmute and let you use your video to speak? We will be happy. Engineer? Not Chris, community. Do we have Engineer Chris? Engineer
Yes.
Chris, are you on the call? Can you also
Yes.
speak a bit? Engineer, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent. So, Engineer, what I want you to reflect on, please turn on your video so that I can see you, we can see you. Engineer, what I want you to reflect on is, I know that Garissa, in particular, on the use of prepaid meters, it was one of the counties where we made the least progress. In Marsabit, we have made the most progress from the use of prepaid meters. What have you learned here that you think could be useful, either for you in your urban setting or even for rural water? Engineer.
For me, I'm Engineer Chris Kamau from Garissa Water and Sewerage Company. I'm the Technical Service Manager. We did have a pilot project for the master meters, for the smart meters. And we did face quite some challenges. And that's what we decided then this pilot has to, first of all, to be terminated. Possibly the reason why Marsabit is successful on the on the smart meters for the water kiosk, possibly it's because of the water kiosk. For us here in Garissa, or rather the municipality, we don't have water kiosk. So I think that's something that was a bit of a challenge. Having said that, is that the smart meters, well, when implemented in phases, definitely it has a ripple effect of increased revenue. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, engineer. I think that is a good point to note and reflect on. I don't know if there's someone from Wajir as well on the call. We can't get your names from here. Do we have anyone from Wajir who can give a comment? No. Okay. So thank you, engineer, and thank you for that experience from Garuasco as well. It's a work in progress, and I know that at some point we will be able to tell the story the same. So we want to move to the next session, and this next session is going to be the panel's discussion. The panel discussion, I got three very resourceful persons here at the front. One on the extreme, is that my left? On my extreme left, I think on your screen is the extreme right. I hope so. So on my extreme left, we have Stivers Kaduni. Stivers is the Sweet Sense County representative, and Stivers is he works with the private sector. Sweet Sense is a private sector company that have been a very important partner for the program in the installation of the prepaid meters that the ladies from Shauriako were talking about, and the Ribgombo were talking about, and the Saku team were talking about. So Stivers is going to give us some reflections on his experiences as a private sector player, and also just some of the ways in which this has been beneficial to him. And then on my extreme right, we've got Stephen Catello. Stephen Catello is the chair. He spoke here very eloquently. Stephen Shake Catello is the chair of the CPSC, the team that has been managing the project here. And Stephen is going to also explain to us how some of the technologies have been useful to support the county government in decision making. And then last but not least, we are honored to have the Deputy County Secretary, Tari Doti. Tari has come here this time. One of the most important and exciting things about this program has been the capacity building element. And I think Tari has been one of those who have been lucky to get an opportunity to get some capacity building to help us in managing human resources. So we beginning from a systems level to enable those at the lower levels to be able to support capacity building in a more structured and institutionalized way. So he's going to talk to us from the perspective of a trainee on the leadership and management training. So I want to start first with, I think I'll start with you, with Stephen. So Stephen, I want you to reflect with us in terms of getting the conversations going on the ICT platform that the program has been able to support the county government on. To what extent has the county government begun to adopt some of these technologies as a way of doing work rather than a one-off project that is coming and going? So how much have you tried to internalize the use of data and the technologies that the program has been able to share with you? Could you just reflect on that?
Thank you, Mr. Jason. I want to share with you the lessons that we have learned as a Department of Water from the perspective of the automation that we have now put in place to manage our revenue collection for purposes of improving sustainability across community waterfronts. One important thing I want to share with you is that most of the water points within the larger Marsabit County and northern Kenya have challenges of governance and the management of those water points through the collection of revenue that we collect at those water points. As a department, one of the key things we benefited from through this project is to address those governance issues as our major strategic boreholes and also within our rural water supply system. I want to share with you how the investment that has been done through Kenya Rapid has now transformed service delivery at those water points. We have now the Marsabit Water and Sanitation Act 2018 in place, which has now made it an official policy for the county government to use automation for every major investment that we do at every levels within the larger county. What really necessitated this was we were trying to find out how we can come out of the challenges that we are having in terms of managing our revenue system. Because as a department, we do not want a situation where we invest into an infrastructure and then there is no clear mechanism of communities managing that system. The major milestone that we have received at this stage, which has made us come out of those challenges, is that one, now we have a policy in place which was developed through this project. We also went ahead and we developed a bill, and the bill was passed at county assembly. It became an act when the governor assented to it, and it was published at the Kenya school, the government printers. It became now an official act, and now the act gives us a clear mechanisms on how we can manage those systems. And in the act, one of the major things is that automation and innovation is our official government position, which must go along with those investments. This has given us an opportunity to now open the scope of our engagement with private investors who have solutions in terms of the prepaid water meters and the sensors that we are going to share with you today about the success we have had. When this was tried at some of the strategic water points within the urban sector, it became an eye-opener for us that now, with the use of technology, the limited water resource that we have can be shared among the many people who depend on this system. I want to give you an example of one of the water kiosks in Marsabit County headquarters, which most of you have seen where we came from. Sometimes back, before devolution, we have water, points that are congested with so many people, and the people who will fetch this water are these young boys who ride bicycles. Those days, motorbikes have not come the way we have motorbikes today. And during those days, you will find a lot of, queue at these water points and a lot of struggle to access the limited amount of water that we get. You will realize that it is the survival of the fittest. The one with the strongest muscle to fight and get will survive. And the rest of the people are at the mercy of this system. During those days, the people, young boys will come with bicycle and fetch water at 2 shillings from those water kiosks. And then they will go and sell to the rest at 50 shillings or 70 shillings. And it became a system that has no order. And now, when we see now how far we have come from that system to where we are today, when the prepaid meter technology was introduced, it was meant to solve that chaos. Now, you are aware that in Marsabit, we do not have enough water resources. Particularly for Marsabit town, our major water point is a reservoir in the forest called Bakuli Dam. And this Bakuli Dam, water is pumped from the Bakuli Dam to a common reservoir in town. And now when this technology was piloted and it was found to be successful, you cannot access water without your ATM. Therefore, every house has to get its ATM to get their fair share of water they are eligible for in a day. We have a program that now monitors this thing, which is actually a dashboard which we can monitor from anywhere you are. What we monitor is the performance of the amount of water drawn from each water point, say at a water kiosk, by every household and the revenue that they pay. Now, it is no longer a system that is hidden from the rest. It's a transparent system. This made everybody now feel comfortable in the way they access their water. And now you can only come to the water point at your convenience. You can even come in the middle of the night. The way you go to an ATM and draw your money, you go to a water point and get your water. And now that removed basically the cartel that was harassing us. This made us now to find out how much money is generated from these water points. The department entered into an MOU with the management of those water points, which could be in form of groups, like the way we have women groups running some of the water kiosks, or the disabled people running some of the water kiosks. There was a mechanism that now we put in place in terms of sharing the revenue, and the revenue is to be shared, on an MOU that was done in such a way that 60% of the revenue collected will go to a water company and 40% will go to groups that are managing. So that was the principle that was driving the success of this process. Basically, through this, we are able to collect revenue that is huge amount of revenue. We are able to bring equity in the way we share our water resources. We are able to bring fairness, and we were able to drive the cartel out of business. It gave everybody a confidence that this is the best way to turn around service delivery for water sector. We have just...
Stephen, let me pick up on that issue you have raised. Particularly, I like the MOU part, the arrangements that help to increase revenue for water. Is the county government allocating resources from the budget to support, this type of interventions on their own, like beyond the Kenya Rapid program? Have you seen that in the department?
Yes, we have seen that in the department, and we have already provided budget through the water sector priority areas, and the government has already also implemented one of the sites within Marsabit County headquarters, and we are planning to operationalize actually, and within 4 water kiosks that was done through the investment through the Bakuli project that is ongoing. We have 4 water kiosks, and we are now trying to see how best using the departmental budget to now install these things ourselves without going to partners.
Wonderful.
We have one of the key things is also...
That's fine. That's fine, Stephen. I love that. That's a good development. I want to go back to Stivers, who is the private sector partner here. Stivers, could you share with us what is in it for you in business terms? What has been the most impactful benefit you have got from this relationship in the project as a private sector player?
Yeah, thank you, Jason. I think for us, we came in to fill a gap. I think that His Excellency the Deputy Governor in the morning talked about boreholes and earth dams or ponds or open water sources being the main sources of water in this region. But knowing the challenges that we have, especially with the rains, seasonality and unreliability of rain, we know that the open water sources are not as reliable. So for Sweet Sense, we saw a gap in terms of supporting the county government and other private sector partners in this region to monitor their boreholes. Boreholes, are the major water source, especially for the arid parts of Kenya. And that being the issue, we saw a gap in terms of supporting them to get adequate information on when these boreholes fail. Because if these systems are failing, we know that we run a risk of people not accessing water, or people accessing water that is not fit for human consumption. So at Sweetsense, we thought of our technology that would come in to fill the gap, the information gap that existed. Because if a borehole fails down 300 kilometers from Marsabit town, you have to make a phone call and the team has to drive up. You know, and in some of these areas, you have challenges of internet connection or phone call connection where people cannot easily make a phone call. Communities cannot make a phone call to alert the technician who is 300 kilometers away to come and fix their borehole. So the technology gap, the technology that we came up with was a sensor that you install at the borehole, and once it's installed there, it helps to give information real time or near real time to the technician or the person who is supposed to be fixing that borehole, and through that, the response time would be reduced. For example, as we stand now in Kenya Rapid, we have around 130 or so sensors that we have up and running. But you know, as we close, we hope to have almost 300 or 400 sensors up in the network in this arid county. So imagine helping with information for 400 or so boreholes. That largely helps to fill that information gap, so that whoever is supposed to respond quickly does that response. But for us, I would say what is in it for us is that we've also had a platform where we've managed to test and develop a product and a service that we can easily move out of Kenya Rapid and take it somewhere else. The key thing being that we started off 4 years or 5 years ago with what I would call a generation 1 sensor, which was just a prototype, trying to think through how would we use this, how do we have that information flowing. Eventually, we came up with something that I want to display here. This green box here, that 4 years ago is what we were using, installing them all around the boreholes. But later, 4 or 5 years down the line, we have managed to move from this technology to a very advanced technology where if you look at this box, you can see it looks a bit complex, and it's out of a lot of innovation, a lot of learning. This is our generation 6 sensor. So you can imagine 6 cycles of learning from this Kenya Rapid. We've installed sensors, we get feedback from the community, we get feedback from the county government, we get feedback by looking at the system and the way data is being transmitted, but helping us to also develop our product and make it as robust as possible to move it to other markets. Lastly, I want to point out that, you know, from all this innovation and for us being a business partner, is that we've managed to move out from, you know, the project itself and moved to other jurisdictions. Now we have just completed a project in Ethiopia, installed close to 600 sensors, of which this is what the sensors that were developed in Kenya Rapid is what we took to Ethiopia. Secondly, we have also managed to take the same technology to Nigeria. We currently are working with the World Bank in Nigeria to install similar sensors in Nigeria and support similar communities. But also, interestingly, we've also gone back to the US, where we manufacture some of these sensors with the same technology being developed in Kenya, but now going back to the US, in California, where we're installing sensors that were piloted in Marsabit, in Turkana, in Wajir, and now we have that as something we can go and talk to clients in California, and they're gladly buying these sensors. One small point I wanted to make is we just don't want to be seen as providers of just sensors. The data, and I think Stephen Catello has talked about this, the data is what is really key, and that is where the gap is. Making sure that that data is being accessed in a very timely manner and the data makes sense to whoever is getting it is really important to us. So we make sure that they can access the data from their phones, from their laptops, from various easy to access ways, so that I can make that decision. For example, we've also tried to see how best to do some analysis for them, so that we just don't tell you the borehole is working. We want to give you information that can help you to act, to make a decision, what we're calling data-driven decisions. making that decision means you have refined or analyzed data or now information that helps you to make that decision and because it involves resources. It involves buying spare parts for the boreholes, buying, sending a vehicle to the field to repair boreholes. So we're trying to refine that data. For example, this morning I was just checking on the dashboard, and in Marsabit we have 71% functionality of their system. So Stephen or the minister or the CEC in charge of water sitting in his office can see 71% of my boreholes are functioning. What is happening to the 29% that is not functioning? So he can make critical decisions, and into that we also give him information, for example, like how long is it taking for a borehole to break down? We are now seeing, I think this morning, were 110 days. 110 days is what it's taking for a borehole to break down in Marsabit. And then when it breaks down, it's taking them 20 days to fix it. Is that good? Is that bad? It's a decision they make at that point, knowing that if it's my team, I'm sending a team out there to fix a borehole and it's taking them 20 days to have the borehole back to functionality. Takes you back to questions around, am I buying the right spare parts? Is my technical team really up to have the skills that are required to fix this borehole? So largely you see this is information that helps you to make a very informed decision in terms of resource allocation, in terms of making sure that the community has increased uptime and the boreholes continue running. Thank you.
Excellent. I think that is very encouraging. It's good to hear in terms of the ecosystem of decision making and not looking at just the technology in isolation. I think that's encouraging, but I think the most encouraging point I've taken from you is the challenge from His Excellency the Deputy Governor when he spoke here earlier and said we need to also start giving. And clearly ASAL counties have started giving capacity to the US in data and evidence to support better water management using some of the technologies that are being tested here. So we should be talking about some reverse partnerships. But I want to pick up from the last point you made. I'll come back to you in terms of how rough and smooth it was in terms of partnering with the public sector. But I want to get back to the DCS. The DCS started the point that Stivers raises, and I think Katel alluded to that. These things need capacities. And capacities, skills and capacities is one of the things that the program on Kenya Rapid has tried to be a bit more focused around. And this has not just by giving technical support at the level of Stephen and others who are in the front line, but even for strategic decision makers who can then prioritize both the capacity of staff in the department as well as their own skills to lead, to manage. To what extent, Bwana DCS, have you found this kind of interventions for capacity going back to give us results in terms of service delivery from your perspective? Bwana Tari. Good afternoon, yes.
First of all, I want to appreciate Kenya Rapid program for... We've benefited. Actually, I'm not alone. I'm still learning. Actually, I'm now halfway with the CEC for Water, Environment and Natural Resource, whom I'm stepping in for. We already have some graduates who have gone through the mentorship program. And what I just want to say is that, this training came very handy. One, because we also, as government, we also do a lot of capacity building. And, if we get this external support, then we can use that money to support other people. So you can see how this support has some spillover effect. And from where I sit, our office is a very robust office. We deal with human resources in the county. And human resources is a capacity. So we are about 3,000 people. And managing 3,000 people, having that coordination, having that linkage, having to deliver on our CIDP, having to deliver on Governor's Manifesto, I think needs somebody who is very strategic, somebody who can provide good leadership, and is also involved serious decision making at some point. So what I just want to say is that from our graduates already who have gone through the course, we've already seen attitude change. And what I can also say is that Management is not about administration. That's a basic concept that I've really learned. And in government, normally we become very bossy. So, where you find yourself, you are very important. And what I've learned so far is that a leader is actually a servant. So you have a team, and every team member is really very, very important. And I've said, as government, we are an organizations, we have team members. So this course, or this capacity building, is instrumental in providing leadership, because we have to deliver results at the end of the day. So I just want to say that it has substantially improved our leadership skills in terms of interpersonal relationship, interpersonal skills. Then also it has also honed our conceptual skills. And how we now approach issue is not from a boss perspective, but just a mere team leader who involves each and every employees in a participatory decision making. So far, I think this is very good, because in so doing, then our coordination skills, our communication skills will be improved, because all this eventually will help in service delivery and pushing also this kind of agenda of Kenya Rapid and the county government of Marsabit. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. I think I like that. And when I hear it coming from leadership, that's even more encouraging in terms of how we can plow back the benefits. And that's a process that I think is a continuous and ongoing process. I want to open this to the plenary for perhaps a question and answer too. I'm hearing very exciting things, but I just want to invite everyone else who, if you have a question, you can raise your hand on the virtual platform. I can see raised hand from Mutembei. Mutembei, I want to give you this chance to speak. Mutembei, can you hear me? I see your hand is raised. Can we unmute Mutembei and...
Okay. Hello?
Yes, can you hear us?
Yeah. Yes, we hear you.
All right, can you go ahead and speak? Do you want to turn your video on?
Hello?
Mutembei, do you want to turn your video on?
Yeah.
Or you can just go ahead and speak.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hello?
We can hear.
Yeah, we are speaking from Wajir
Yes.
or Wajiwasko. You did ask a representative from Wajiwasko, and that's why I was raising my hand.
Sorry, I don't know if we can hear. Hold it there. Can we get higher volume, or is it on his side? Turn on your volume. We want to hear what we can hear, but it's faint.
Hello?
Proceed.
Hello, you did ask a representative from Wajir. That is why I was raising my hand.
Okay, you can go ahead and speak.
Okay.
Do you want to add to the experience that we have had from here about your experience in particularly livestock, prepaid meters? Can you add any point?
Yeah, we did a similar project, which actually was so much helpful to our organization as per se Wajiwasto.
Yep.
It has been very much candid, because some of the experience I could hear was similar, and some of the gaps which were bridged were coming out very much clearly as per the Marsabit. So I will just compliment to what Marsabit guy talked about the prepaid.
Yes.
Actually, it gives a real-time monitoring. It enhances accountability, and actually it can even give you more an nutshell of calculating the NRW. So whatever the experiences and the improvements witnessed in Marsabit, I think as per Wajir, specifically Wajiwasco,
Yes.
it has been excellent and we really encourage and we support it. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks a lot for that, Mtembe. I think that's a very good addition. I think I've seen a comment from Benedicta. Benedicto, do you want to give your comments as well? I know that you have a passion on groundwater resources. We of the services can sometimes get lost in supply and forget about the resource. Do you want to give your comment from Acacia? Benedicta is speaking from, she's in the Netherlands. I hope she can. Benedicto, can you hear me? Daniela? No, not Mutembe. Can we mute Mutembe? Mutembe is now sorting out his domestic issues. Daniela, can you hear me? Can we get Daniela? Is she muted? Is she? Let me see. Daniela, can you unmute so that we hear you? And turn on your video if. Okay, I think we cannot get to. We can't get to hear Daniela, but I will say what Daniela was saying on the chat. So Daniela was saying, good afternoon, everyone. Very nice to be here again and see Marsabit sharing their points of views. Acacia Water would like to call some attention for the huge pressure on groundwater resources in ASALs and its sustainability by relying only on boreholes. So adaptive strategies could increase resilience by implementing a diverse set of interventions and benefits for rainwater harvesting, for example. I think Daniela is trying to raise our attention to what His Excellency the Deputy Governor talked about here when he said that water varies in time and space. So we need to, when it is available, invest on harvestings before it goes to groundwater, so that we don't always go to groundwater as our first option for water resources. I think that's the point Daniela is making there, and that's perfect. Janet is a director here. Janet is not here. Is she here? No. Janet was saying, great comment. Overuse of groundwater is real in our areas, especially in Marsabit. Drilling of boreholes is a threat to the environment. They need to look for other strategies. Janet Hato, that she's the director. You know that Janet very well, so she has supported that. I think we appreciate that, and I don't know if there's anyone on the Zoom platform who has a question. I would love to see if any hand is up. Otherwise, I want to go back to Stivers to ask. Stivers, I want to go back to you. Partnership between private sector, county government, and these NGOs, in this case, Kenya Rapid. How has that experience been in terms of, what has been your biggest challenge in terms of the partnership and this initiative? Stivers.
Yeah, thank you for that. Again, private sector partners, obviously, looking at the northern arid counties, you find some of them shy away from coming to some of these places. The Deputy Governor told us about the good roads that are now opening up some of these places, but typically someone talking about Wajias and the Manderas, somebody will, a private sector partner or businessman sitting in Nairobi might have his own fears. But I think the platform that Kenya Rapid has given us has been it's been good, first of all, for us to, what I talked about, the services and product development, but also it's been an eye-opener for private sector. I think the link that we have had to directly communicate with governments and also to communicate with the community has really been a good platform. It also breaks that bond, that ice, that wall that for private sector partners, and gives us some confidence that we can move into the community through such channels. I think, just to give examples, when we were coming up with some of these sensors and the innovations that we've talked about, the Maji Milele platforms, IBM research in Nairobi, all of us were looking for that platform where we can engage the community at a certain level. But that entry point is what most of us were missing. I think Kenya Rapid and the NGO partners come in to give us that platform because they have been in this business for long, of engaging community development, community, and understanding the communities, and they have held our hands and helped us to move into those communities and develop our products and services. I can tell you, all our IT gurus and seated in Nairobi or in the US, thinking of how they can get to Drip Gombo or to some of these communities in Saku and other places is not easy. I know for a fact that the 5 or 4 years that we've had together has helped us to get the feedback from the community, from the government, to help us develop our platforms, to help us develop our products, to help us, for example, even for our sensors. I could say, when we put up the first sensor and we put up some solar panels there and they were stolen, that's enough feedback to tell us, oh, so this is not how you do it here. You need to be very ingenious to make sure some of these items are not stolen. And how do you do that? It opens our minds to just not sit in Nairobi and think through. But when we go to the community and we ask them, why is this happening? Why is this not? They give us feedback and say, no. Around here, this happened. This is feedback, real-time feedback that helps you to develop a product, develop a service. The other point I wanted to point out is that, working with agencies like the National Drought Management Authority, NDMA, and helping us to target. When we had conversations with NDMA and they told us, we have a big interest in strategic boreholes. It gives you direction on where to put your install the sensors or build a platform around. So, for example, now we are monitoring strategic boreholes in collaboration with National Drought Management Authority and giving feedback to this, giving them this data to help them see how the strategic boreholes, which are so strategic that if one breaks down for a week, it becomes a crisis. So helping them to focus us, help us to target in targeting and helping us to know this is where we should really put our products and our service, that has really been useful. Again, I wanted to just mention other examples like Lowasco, and now we are talking to Wajir Water Company, helping them to map out their boreholes, and they can sit in their office in Lodwar or Turkana, Lodwar town in Turkana, and see all their boreholes, 15 or so boreholes in one platform, and make decision that helps us to target and not just put a sensor on any other borehole. The last point I wanted to point out is also we've had lots of discussions that are telling us don't just have standalone dashboards, don't have standalone information platforms, because the county, Mr. Katelo here wants to see all his information on one platform. And this is what I think Kenya Rapid has been helping us to work around in terms of building one platform that is the eMaji Manager platform that is being built by IBM and SweetSense and the rest, that you can get all this information from Acacia Water, from SweetSense, all these partners in one platform. But also going further to listen to National Drought Management Authority, who are saying, can we then now bring in data on drought, on nutrition, on other things? And this is how now we're thinking around a platform that we're calling DRIP, the Drought Resilient Impact Platform, which is under development, and it's a product of the conversations and the interactions we've had with NGOs, government, at county level and national level, that we can build a platform that will host data on drought information. This is one big milestone, and it's actually wholly because of the partnerships that we've had and the entry point. I think you also wanted me to talk about the challenges, and just to point, just one slide.
Maybe I cut you out on the challenges. Okay. I love the last point. I'll come back to you on the challenge. Okay. Talking of DRIP, I've seen a comment from Lillian. Lillian Dungu was saying technologies too, such as DRIP, which you have just mentioned, seeks to monitor borehole water levels and send alerts to relevant bodies where borehole pumps are faulty, and that's part of an ongoing collaboration between the RCMRD and partners. I think that's important. I want to ask, and you have also mentioned IBM. Sarah Kimura is here. Sarah is from IBM. Sarah, I want you to, if you can unmute Sarah and ask Sarah to turn on her video. And then after Sarah, we'll speak to Ambassador Gulaid. Karibu. Ambassador Gulaid is the CEO of FCDC. I will ask him to speak after Sarah in terms of how we can provide support to counties together using platforms like FCDC. He's going to talk about that. Sarah, are you able to speak? Can you hear me? Sarah works with IBM. I want Sarah to reflect on the point that Stivers is raising for her as private sector partners as well. What has been the experience? Sarah, is Sarah there? Did you trace her to unmute and okay. Sarah, can you turn on your video and speak? Can you hear us first of all? Sarah? Ambassador Gulaid, can you unmute? And can you unmute Ambassador Gulaid? There's a gentleman called Mohammed Gulaid.
Unmute.
Go ahead, Ambassador. You're on air.
Am I on air?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, it was telling me to take. It was asking me to request for being unmuted. Thank you very much, Jason.
Yes.
Let me take also this opportunity to thank everyone. It was a very, very fruitful discussion. Mine is very short. We have a very long association with Kenya Rapid, with Doris and with everybody in the team. And one of the issues I want to mention here is that following the successful meeting of or the tour of the ambassadors and heads of missions early in the year, we had gone round the FCDC counties, and Marsabit was one of the counties we visited. We had with us about 28, almost 30 people. We had 2 plane loads of people traveling with us. And the theme dedicated to that mission was on issues of water. What do we do about water? Because water is the defining theme across the entire FCDC region. And most of the leaders, the governors, and everyone we met, they were raising this issue of water as the basic denominator. And as a consequence to that, I really wish to thank again Kenya Rapid, which helped us organize a half-a-day workshop in Nairobi at the end of the mission, where over 120 participants from across the globe, including even UN Under Secretary General, attended. And of course, again, water was the central theme. And what was agreed in that meeting was that across the FCDC region, the 10 counties of northern Kenya, that we develop a water master plan. And in that meeting, we were fortunate enough to get support from the UN and the United Nations Development Program awarded 200,000 USD for a start as a seed money for the development of the water master plan, of which UNESCO and UNEP were to take the lead. So fortunately or unfortunately, immediately that decision was made. Of course, the international crisis around the coronavirus slowed the whole process. But then just like a month ago, we were able to reconvene the county executive committee members for water to meet and discuss on the way forward on the water master plan. And what was agreed was that we are going to have a physical meeting. I don't know now whether that will be possible again because of the upsurge of the disease. But in any case, the purpose is that we reconverge again and agree on how to go forward on the issue of the water master plan. And once again, I'm thankful Kenya Rapid through Doris was willing to support us in that meeting, which we envision to go on to hold it in Isiolo once the time and the calendar permits. Of course, central to all this is issues of water governance, what was being discussed here, the issues of water, catchments, how to harness rainwater and, floods, and ensure that the perennial water shortages are overcome in the long run, since water is, as I said, a basic denominator in the economic activities of the northern parts of Kenya. So I just wanted to brief this meeting over that, and we are partnering with Kenya Rapid. Of course, Marsabit County is a member county of the FCDC. It will have a central role. Amongst the issues we wanted from Marsabit, of course, was in addition to ensuring that there's water security, but the resource mobilization towards the construction and the completion of the Badasa Dam, which is expected to serve more than 100,000 people around the Saku region. So these are areas, and one more important thing before I forget, amongst the things we want to discuss soon within the FCDC is to bring a group of partners and donors specifically for Marsabit. And I really wanted to pass this message to the team in Marsabit. We are planning, the ambassador of Switzerland had requested for a visit to Marsabit, I think in the next few weeks, for which one of the issues we are likely to discuss is how can we mobilize development partners, specifically on the issue around the Badasa Dam and generally water security in Marsabit as a whole, because we have realized water plays also a big role in issues of insecurity and the sporadic violence that we witness in Marsabit. So with those few remarks, I would like to hand it over back to you, Jason. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's give a clap to Ambassador Gulaid. I think it's encouraging that the community of partners, people, and ideas around water resources is growing. And I think for Marsabit, this will be music to your ears, because the biggest problem here is the resource first. Even though we still have service challenges, but the resource is still a growing concern. So that is encouraging. Thanks a lot, Ambassador, for that. I'm told Sarah is back. Sarah of IBM, we are keen to hear. Can you unmute? She is? Daniela, Daniela, your message has been passed by Ambassador Gulaid. I don't think you need a better ambassador than Ambassador Gulaid to talk about water resources. Excellent. Thank you, Daniela. I can see she's saying, yes, I agree. Sarah?
Hello, you can hear me now?
Okay. Yes, go ahead, Daniela. I see she's on.
Okay,
on
sorry
camera.
about that. Okay, I'm having issues turning on my camera, but I think I'm loud and clear.
Yes.
Sorry about that again. I was to be joining my colleagues, but some of them got the information a bit late, so they've not been able to join me, but I think Clifton is online also. Yes, so IBM has been doing the technology piece of building the platform, the eMAGI Manager, which was formerly known as OMASP. And it has been an interesting 4 years, interacting with the communities and getting feedback and building on. And I think what we can say is we also learned a lot in the process. There's still a lot to be done, definitely, on improving it and bringing more partners on board so that we have this one-stop shop of a platform where everyone can go to for all their water asset needs. But I think this has been a good step in the right direction. Lesson learned, I think, is just, it's good to have more interactions and engagements as you build some of these platforms, especially in areas where that has not been done before, because I think we had many rounds of iterations to perfect the system, especially we had issues with connectivity. Some of the users were in areas where there was really low network, so it was a challenge accessing the platform, but we got some ways around that by coming up with what we call a light version of the system where you can use your feature phone. And yeah, it's been quite an interesting journey, and we look forward to seeing the next steps. So the platform is available, it's up and running for anyone who would want to have a look at it. And we still welcome feedback. We are still on in terms of tweaking and making it better until at least the end of the year before we maybe turn to another step. I don't know if there are any specific questions that you'd want me to address. Our technology person is not on today, but I'm hoping they'll be able to join the future interactions that we have.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks a lot for that insight. Dean Osewe, is your hand still up? Dean? Does Dean still want to speak? No? Dean, can you turn on your video? Tell us where you're speaking from, just so that we can situate your comments.
Hello?
Yes, hello, we can hear you.
You got me?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Yeah, I'm calling from Wajuasco.
Oh, that's Lodwa Water and Sewerage Company.
That's
Wajia,
Wajia.
Wajiwasco. Oh, not Lord. Okay, yes, Wajiwasco, Wajia. Okay, go ahead, Dean.
Wajuasco. How is Marsabit?
Very good. It's raining and wet, but beautiful as always.
Okay, my concern, without much ado, my concern was going to improving drought resistance monitoring through sensors. Actually, like in our scenario where we have been faced with a prolonged drought, just for the recent days we have experienced some late rainfall. But the sensors have been very much supportive, although there's some gaps which the last presenter, I don't know if he touched about them. Because, you know, we entirely depend on the underground water. And underground water, we also have the aquifer, which we can get, water table can be depleted. So when depletion occurs, we usually experience a lot of mechanical breakdown of pumps, banks, and what have you. So we were of the idea that if we can have sensors which we can see from the dashboard that the amount of water is really lowering and the recharge has reduced, so that we can maybe close the pumping, or we can reduce the pumping, or we can project, like, because demand, you know, when there's drought, the demand is prolonged, is increasing, and the pumping and the recharge and the flow of water will be reducing. So is there such a scenario where we can have a sensors to actually detect the depletion of water or recharges underground?
Oh, okay. Thanks, Dean. Steve, I don't want you to take me to the technology, I'll get lost, but this is part of the information you need to harvest routinely, as perhaps you said you are in series number 6. Series number 7, can it answer Dean's question? I don't know.
Yes, so thank you for that question. And just for his information, we will be in Wajir in the next 3 weeks. We have a bunch of sensors for Wajuasco that under Kenya Rapid that will be doing that. But also on groundwater monitoring, one of the key things that you'll note is groundwater, and I don't want to be very technical, you know, monitoring recharge and, you know, how the aquifer behaves is not, it takes quite some technology. The sensors that we have currently don't do that, but we've been in conversations with Acacia Water, to see how we can partner on some of these, and hopefully in the next cycle or the next project, we should be able to do that. And I think the generation 7 and 8 that will come should be in a position to do that. But currently, we can't do that. But they exist off-the-shelf counter. You can buy one in the shops and install a dipper that can give you that kind of information. But currently, the sensors we have only are monitoring at abstraction level, how much you're getting out and how much is being, you know, used in terms of power, how many hours you're running your pump, how much water you're getting out. So, but monitoring the aquifer, we're not doing that, but we can do that. And this is a discussion I want to be very clear that is going on with Acacia Water. And, you know, it's out of these partnerships that we are getting this feedback, because we've received this question several times, and we've seen there's a gap. And as business people, we want to see how we can fill that gap by coming together to come with products that can answer some of these gaps that we are seeing now. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. So, Dean, the part of your answers is on the way in 3 weeks. You will speak to Stivers. He will have some of the partial answers, and you can have a deeper conversations when you meet. I don't know if here on the, I kind of forgot, I got questions here. Do we have a question here to any of our panelists as we wrap this up? I know we are already now 5 minutes beyond. I want us to wrap up in the next 10 minutes. Any questions from anyone here on the floor? Oh, yes, there we go. We got a question there. We need a microphone to the lady over there who is in the blue. So we really appreciate that, Dean, and I think as Stivers has said, as the technology evolves, that will be part of the data that they use to improve the system and to respond. So go ahead with your question, yes.
Mine is not necessarily, but it is a comment for the few people who really don't know. Other than that, you know the services that we offer as Davis and Chaplins, we do solar lighting. We also do water treatment. Some of the water that you get in this area, they are not suitable for human consumption. We can do water treatment units to give you good and healthy water. That is all.
Fantastic. Thank you. That is fantastic. Let's clap for Dorothy. That's a private sector, and I think it's encouraging to, she picks on another part of the value chain. The moment, what Stivers Stivers doesn't fix pumps. So Stivers will only tell you the pump is down. And after that, you got Davis and Shatcliffe and other market providers and players who come in. So it's a value chain. It's a system of decision making and response that we need to encourage, and that's the kind of partnership that we get from people like Dorothy and Davis and Shatcliffe, including even the water artisans who some we have trained, I think, in the program to just help respond quickly and efficiently in the service provision ecosystem. So thank you so much for that addition. I think we got one more comment. Yes, can we give the microphone to Immaculate? I think. Where is the other microphone? So that we can hear a different perspective as well. From here, right here in front here. Yes, Immaculate, go ahead. Sorry for that, sorry.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Immaculate Mutua, coordinating nutrition services in Marsabit County. I'm privileged to participate in this learning process. I know nutrition is an outcome. We've partnered, but peripheral with Cape Rapid on the agri-nutrition activities, but this is a result of the water provision and also the distribution. I know we've not done much in terms of the agri-nutrition because it's a new concept in the country, and also at the national level there were efforts to do the strategy and also the policies and also the curriculum so that it gives guidance to counties on what to do. Mine would be, because we have the private sector here who seem to have solutions that the public service might not have immediately. And as our DCOP said, if you want to move fast, move with the private sector. I have just a question to pose. Could we use technology to establish how much water we need for Marsabit and be able to segregate the need for who or for what, so that when we're estimating and advising governments on how much to invest, and also donors how much to invest, we can comfortably quantify the need. And then systematically, as we are using our policies and guidelines, be able to calculate the need, the percentage need met for water solution, whether for livestock, whether for human consumption, whether for institutions, whether for agriculture. And yearly, would be measuring the investment against the percentage of need met. Because for me, it makes a lot of sense when we know how much we need and for what purpose, rather than we say Marsabit is in need of a lot of water. Can we work and use technology with the aid of the private sector and other partnerships to provide solution, one for establishing the need, and then systematically invest in addressing the needs. And this will bring us to the achievement of the SDG. I know everybody is working towards the SDG 6, which addresses the water. And this water does not just come, we look at the safety, as our colleague has said, and also from the nutrition side, we really rely on the water. One, for the food security and also the nutrition security, and secondly, for the hygiene and sanitation, which it's an integral part that nutrition cannot survive without water. And in that case, in our County Nutrition Action Plan, which we launched 2 months ago, if you look at the Key Resort Area 9, Output 3, it has the issue of addressing provision of quality, safe water, and also adequacy of that water. It's clear that we cannot even produce those kitchen gardens that we are promoting in the agri-nutrition. We cannot wash hands. We cannot do other things in regard to sanitation, and also have adequate for body hygiene and also for drinking and other purposes. So if my first aspect of quantifying what the need we have, then we'll have solutions that would systematically address that need and address even the nutrition and food insecurity issues in Marsabit. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I think let's give a clap to Immaculate for that. That's a brilliant question. I want to put it not here. I want to see if on the call, Daniela, can you speak now? Daniela, can you speak? Or your system is still...
Yes, now it's working.
Wonderful, wonderful, just in time. Now, what Immaculate is asking is, can we have better demand forecasts for water use that can help decision makers in terms of quantifying the resource based on sectoral needs? Can we be smarter in managing demand through data?
Yes, Jason, certainly we can, and we have done this through Kenya Rapid program. In first instance, we did for all 5 counties together with our implementing partners. So there are reports for each single county published on the water demand, and also very specifically calculated for agriculture purposes, for the livestock, and for domestic supply. These reports were published in 2018. And later on, when we went to the implementation of the 3R interventions, we developed a methodology and we developed calculation sheets specifically for each community, because we believe you can decentralize water provision as well. So each community could have its own infrastructure, also being that a small one, doesn't matter, also focusing on water harvesting techniques. It's, of course, a choice that you can make based on the landscape potential. So at that time, we developed a methodology, and we also built on calculation sheets for each of the counties. So it is possible to have these numbers, absolutely, and they are available. I will share a link to those reports here in the chat in a little while.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Daniela. That was very precise and accurate. Thank you for being resourceful as always. And I think with Daniela's comment, I want us to wrap this up and just highlight some of the things that have come out of these 2 sessions. We might not get time for a second round with our panelists, but also to thank the panelists. I think we've been fantastic panelists. Thank you, Stivers, for your time. Thank you, Bwana DCS. Chairman Stephen Katelo, thank you so much for your leadership as well on the program. And I think from me, what I have gathered from the session we had earlier in the morning, when the community ranking of some of the highlights and some of the lowlights in the program, one of the things that clearly struck me was I don't think there is any doubt about the impact that we feel, see, and touch from the installation of the prepaid meters and the tech automation. I think clearly this is the way to go. And we have agreed that it helps much better, like it is now, when we got additional public funding. That shows us a very strong sign of confidence that this is a technology and a solution that the county government believes in and the county people believe in. And I think that level of support is very encouraging, number one. Number two, I think we have also, I was encouraged to learn about the shift that we had. I think when Stephen spoke, he must have been mentioning Saku, the one in town, the gender dynamics around the water markets. And that technology, just by adoption of technology, the young men who used to go there on the bicycles, who would have now gone there on motorbikes, disappeared, and the place now is a lot of those who need water, which are largely women, and that. So the water users' access and the elimination of that middle market player was removed, and that reduces the cost of access to water and improves access as well. I think that was something that I found very exciting. We have also taken note of the benefits from institutionalization of arrangements for governance where there is promise. For example, now the county government has MOUs, as Stephen mentioned. There's a revenue sharing formula between the county, and it's a win-win, really. So the more formalized the system is, the lower the cost of access, and the higher the revenues and benefits to communities, benefits to county government. I think that was something that was good, and the evidence of the pilots that we have now begun, I think, is an encouraging one. The data and the technology team, I mean, this has been a wonderful session with the team. Stivers mentions that integration of data platforms still remains a challenge, and I think Sarah confirmed that. And for the decision maker like Stephen and the DCS here, what they need is a singular platform where they can see everything at the same time to help them respond quickly and efficiently. I think that is something that is encouraging. One area that I think we still will need to do a bit more work is a point that Immaculate has raised, I think, on WASH. And from the community dialogue, the rangeland management component for natural resources, that is work that we need to step up. I think as the chairman in Group 2 was presenting, he made it clear that you need certain preconditions also to build some of these institutions at the community level, like the rangeland management committees. He talked about conflict. He spoke about investing a bit more on cohesion processes and integrating cultural activities to pass messages of, to promote that level of cohesion. I think that was a good point that he raised. And I think, as Immaculate has mentioned, really, WASH component cannot be overemphasized. The reason for water is not water for the sake. We need water for development, so water for domestic use in particular. And as His Excellency, the Deputy Governor mentioned here, right now we cannot overemphasize why everyone needs to have access to water, sanitation. These are very important to manage small little challenges of public health, improve nutrition outcomes. I think those are investments that give multiple benefits. And so trying to refocus our attention to that is something that that is encouraging. So thank you very much. I think that has been a wonderful conversation. I just want to ask us to clap for ourselves for a good session, and I think very educative. We are very happy with the support we have received from the county government, and to close the session formally, I'm going to ask, maybe before I ask the Deputy County Secretary to give an official closing, I want to request someone from the community to give a vote of thanks, and someone who is here. Any volunteer, chairman, viongozi wa vikundi, who can give us a vote of thanks? Nani anaweza kutupea? Anyone from here? And then I will also ask a development partner to speak, then Bwana DCS. So if we can get someone from here. Anyone? Nani? Ni nani atatupea? Apate microphone. Wapi microphone hapa katikati? Yes. And then after her, I think I will ask, yesterday, Swiss Development Corporation gave us closing comments. Martin Mulongo, be on standby. You will also speak after the comment from this gracious lady here. Endelea.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Fatuma Shufkio. Mimi nimetoka kwa kikundi cha wakina mama wanayohusika na management ya Shauri Yako kioski. Ninafurahi sana, na kwa niaba ya community wote wale wamefaidika na mradi hii, nasema asante sana. Na ni vizuri pengine niwape ushauri kidogo kwa community wangu. Nawaambia kile kitu kinaanzishwa yote iko na kuogopa. Iko na challenges nyingi, na unasikianga mambo mingi mabaya kutoka nje. Na wakati tulikuwa tumeambiwa tutajengewa kioski, tutatengenezewa token, na maji tutapata kwa wingi, alafu tukawa trend kidogo. Tulikuwa trend watu wa water FH na through K-Rapid wali train na community na wazee wa Manyata. So ikawa sasa ni siasa. Ikawa ni tumeambiwa ati maji itachukuliwa na serikali, pesa itachukuliwa na serikali. Ikawa ni siasa ingine ambaye haifahamiki. So sisi tulisema, kwa sababu hii program imekuja na hii project imekuja, na nimesema ni pilot. Tumeambia watu wale wametufunza wa Maji Milele na K-Rapid, tulisema hatuwezi ogopa. Tupewe 3 months to operate. Na tukimaliza after 3 months, when it is good, tutaendelea. Na kama ni mbaya, inatudhuru vile community wamesema, we can withdraw. So sisi tumechukua hiyo jukumu, na tukasema hatuogopi, tuendelee, na ikifika mahali ikiwa successful, it's well and fine. So mimi nasema na shukuru sana community yangu, group ya Drip Gombo na ya disabled. Tumechukua hiyo jukumu, na hata kama ni pesa ingeenda ama ipotee ama iende kwa serikali vile inasema, sisi ndio tungelaumiwa sana. Lakini we are very happy. Wacha sisi, hata community wenyewe wamefaidika, na wamesema kama sio sisi hawangepata maji vile inatakikana. Na wacha sisi, hata community tumewafaidisha. To show them that sio sisi wale wanafanya management tu ndio wanapata faida, bali hata wao wenyewe wanafaidika mara mbili. Ile pesa sisi tunapata kama income, na wanapata maji vile inatakikana. So we are very happy. Partners wametusaidia, na ni vizuri kujua partners ile kazi wanafanya, wafanye capacity building, wafanye sensitization vile inatakikana, and we appreciate. Na tunasema mahali tuko sasa, tuko kwa sababu ya USAID. tumefaidika ya kutosha, isipokuwa unajua uwezi sema ile kitu uko naye yote, unaficha zingine. Si ni kweli?
Yes.
Uwezi weka yote juu ya meza, ama mkubaliani na mimi? Unaficha kiasi, ile ingine unasema uko na kiasi. Unaona? Otherwise tumesema asante sana, tumeshukuru. Sisi wakina mama sasa, sisi ni TOTs, we are TOTs now on agri nutrition. Tumefundishwa hata mambo na dialogue cards, na saa ile kiu iko mrefu kidogo, hawa wakina mama wako na card. Na they are good TOTs, they can train on agri nutrition. How to do balanced diet, vile ya kukuza mboga, vile ya kufuga kuku, mbuzi. So we are very happy indeed. Thank you so much and welcome again.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Fatuma. That was very encouraging. I think those on the virtual call who could not understand French, what Fatuma is saying, Fatuma has mentioned 3 important things. The first is she has admitted that the community has a lot of resources, and when you come to partner with them, they will always be smart enough to let you get room to support, and they benefit from that. That is a technique. But Fatma has offered a very important offer as well, put a very important offer. Fatma, and this was a challenge I was going to put to her, but she has picked it up. She has said, Shauriako Women Group is now a capacity building outfit. They can train others, use them as resources, and I think this will be the most exciting thing to do, not just for water management, but even for additional issues like green nutrition and so on and so forth, which they have received capacity on, so they could easily train others. I think that was a good thing. And she has expressed her deep appreciation on behalf of the team to USAID, and admitted that the journey has been a wonderful one, and welcomed us back. So thank you a lot, Shauriako team, the Ribgombo team, and the Saku team. Martin Mulongo, USAID representative, are you ready to speak? You got to unmute yourself. I know you are talking, but I can't hear. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear. Thank you. Loud and clear.
Oh, thank you. Now, on behalf of USAID, we are so grateful. We are happy to have been involved in the Kenya Rapid program from inception. Even we are happy seeing its successful conclusion. And our prayer that some years down the lane, somebody coming back to Marsabit will see those projects continuing. The ideas that have been initiated will have possibly grown to even bigger to scale. And I would like personally to see Davis and Shatliv set up a shop in Marsabit and selling spare parts and servicing boreholes, not just coming from Nairobi. I would like to see Sweet Sense actually, as Stylers was speaking, having a shop there, so that all the wells and even the other parts of the country possibly, so that and that's one of the best way of journey to self-reliance. So I want to urge the professional community all over the county to be involved. You know, I'm remembering in another meeting where we were launching the rural water guidelines for rural water in Nairobi, and a question was asked: how many of us professionals are members of the village water committees? And surprisingly, none of us. And I'm sure if we were to ask that question now, it will also be likely none. It's because we want to leave it to the people down there, but we can also be involved. But at the same time, many of us are involved in secondary school management committees, so we can offer our services. Those professionals who come from the area work together with the community, with the government, so that we ensure sustainability is achieved. So finally, we just want to say thank you so much, the planning committee team, from our end, USAID, the CLT team for Marsabit, USAID led by Doreen, and the MCT, and of course you, Jason, the RLA team, Kenya Rapid, county government, everybody who has been involved. I know it has been a lot of work, even including meeting even late in the night, and so it's been good to the success of this. And I just want to say thank you so much. And my prayers as I leave, I hope these lessons learned, the documents will not be put on the shelves in statistics, but they will be put into use to transform the water sector, the health, the livestock, and natural resources sectors. Thank you so much, and I wish everybody a very wonderful afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin, and I think those are very warm and kind regards. As always, Martin is part of the USAID team that has been extremely supportive of this process. So I want to, I think just before I ask the Bonadicius to come and close, this is, as I said, the second learning event. We have another set of learning events next week. I don't know what will be the guideline that will be issued by the government today on COVID. If matters are held constant, we have the next set of learning events next week. On 10th, we will be in Wajir. In Turkana will be virtual, 100% virtual. That will be on 12th. Garissa, we are coming there on 17th. So I saw Garuasco CEO was here on the call. Engineer, tunakuja Garissa next week, 17th. And then on Wednesday, 25th, we have the last learning event, which will be at a national level. We will try to harvest everything we learn from here and also have a virtual meeting where now you from the county will be virtual. The virtual participants here will be physical. So what we do here, we will do in Nairobi. If all the regulations remain as they are, but depending again on the COVID situation, we will adjust as appropriate. So thank you so much. Bonadicius, your last word to close the ceremony, we will be happy. Karibu. Thank you.
I thank everybody for active participation. On my part, I think I've really enjoyed this technology. I think the COVID pandemic has opened for us another window of organizing an event like this. And if I may say, I think investing in technology is always the right thing to do. And as every speaker, the panelists, our deputy governor has also acknowledged that after automating our boreholes, I think we've seen the advantage of so doing. Our revenues have gone up. Our response time has significantly been reduced. And efficiency in service delivery has absolutely enhanced. So maybe what I just want to say is about the sustainability of this technology, because we are dealing with our local communities, and these boreholes are normally in the rural places. So, and I'm sure the program and the department have mainstreamed that, because sustainability is all about the cost effectiveness of an intervention, and how it can also be replicated also elsewhere. And I'm sure we will not have that because we'll continue working with our private sectors, and it's very important that we enhance our collaboration with the private sectors because we've seen the benefit of so doing. And I want to just give you assurance that like any other programs in the county, and our deputy governor has said that we value a lot our partnership. And USAID have a huge investment here in Marsabit. We'll continue to support them. We'll continue to dialogue. We'll network and learn from each other. So our doors are always open for you. And I know we've been meeting somehow, somewhere. And I just want to say that our support is always assured as we work towards improving the lives of our people. And I wish you all the best as you go home. Stay safe as we wait for also the outcome of American election. I'm sure Jennifer and the rest are voting now. I don't know if they have voted. Oh, she voted yesterday. Then also, as we also wait the outcome of deliberation on COVID from Nairobi. So all the best, and I can now declare our meeting officially closed. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think with that we come to a close. Tumemaliza sasa. Asanteni sana. We have lunch for those who are here. So those virtual participants, please don't take a flight to come for lunch here. Where is lunch served here? Is it at the back? Okay. Kwa hivyo tukitoka kuna lunch hapa, kwa hivyo tunapitia huko ama tunapitia hapa? No, I think ni huko. I can see there's a table here. Tunapitia mlango wa nyuma and then we come and serve ourselves. So thank you very much. Asanteni sana. Karibuni lunch na Mungu awabariki.